Bioweapon viruses filled in my environment. Socialism coming, I ain't talking about the firemen. Y'all thought we were crazy listening to Alex Jones. Now the city's shutting down and you can't leave out.
What's up, folks?
Look out for the drones.
How we feeling tonight, folks? I'm feeling good.
When the media is working for the banks.
What's good, Truth Seeker Truth? Holly, what's going on? X Miller, what's going on? Flow like an animal, they try to say I'm more radical cause I'm cool like Barry Manilow. They be some cannibals doing rituals, it's magical, taking money out your capital, yeah. Predatory loans, taking out your home, take a vaccine, chill. I don't want a pill, this is not a drill. I don't want to deal, I am independent. I don't want to bend it, I don't want to sentence. I am on a vengeance, I will not regret it. I am not defenseless, all my friends protect. Stay blessed. Who we got? We got Lori Trim. Stop hating, bitch. Stop hating, bitch, from Pennsylvania. You made me curse. I started out with a curse. I apologize. That's someone's name. Alaska in the house. I got my Alaska mug. Shout out Alaska. I love Alaska. I'm kind of pissed though. I saw I got the bear here. Everybody goes to Alaska. They want to see a bear. I went to Yosemite with my friend and he's telling me about, if you cross a bear, it's fine unless the cubs are there. And we're on our first trail. And I look over and there's a bear like 20 feet from me. I'm not even kidding, like a huge bear. And then they're like, it's cubs are over there. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Excuse my language. But I'm like, they just tell me, I'm like, I'm not trying to see a bear. I'm not Bear Grylls. Like everyone's like, I want to see a bear. I'm like, I definitely don't want to see a bear. And I saw a bear and I just like walked away real fast. I was like, how do I not get killed by this bear? But it was fine. It was a black bear. But in general, not a big... Someone said I love bears. Well, I mean, yeah, they're cool, but I'm just talking about like I'm in the middle of Yosemite on a trail. I'm not trying to see a bear with the cubs on the other side. That's not the vibe. I mean, some people want to see that. They want to be that person that takes the camera and just get mauled or something. It happened to this Indian kid in New Jersey. I'm not kidding. I read it in like the news. He like took a video of the bear and the bear killed him and like it was on his phone. Like they found the kid and they found his phone and it's like he's like, oh, look, a bear. I'm not trying to be that guy. God bless that guy. Poor guy. All right. So, I don't like to overhype stuff. I'm feeling good. How you guys feeling? But I got I'm going to work on a video tonight. I always say this and I end up staying too long, but I'm going to try not to stay too long. I just filmed a video. That's why I'm here. I'm waiting for it to upload. I think it's even better than my last video. A lot of people said my last video is good. This one, I'm saying it's 3 times as good as my last video. I'm coming with the facts. I'm coming with machine voting, who's involved in it, what's going on. I think this might be my best piece. I don't even know how I pulled it together. I just started seeing information. I'm pulling it down like the Matrix, but I'm about to edit that, and that's what it is. So I'll answer a few questions. I'll hang out for a little bit. I'll give you a breakdown for everybody real quick. I mean, I'm not like a legal expert or anything, but the media does not call the elections. I don't want to spoil my next video, but they can say whatever they want. They lie all the time. Pennsylvania's not over. There's Supreme Court has already ruled, Alito ruled that there's certain ballots that they need to separate. Basically, it's going to be a legal standoff in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania is Democrat. The Attorney General is Democrat. The Secretary of State is like a Trump hater. And they're doing all sorts of things against the Supreme Court of the United States. They're going rogue. So at the end of the day, it's going to go to court which ballots are legal and illegal. You hear Trump saying, every legal vote counts, or count every legal vote, but not the illegal votes. And then you have Democrats saying every vote counts. That's what they're saying. So they're Trump wants the legal votes counted, and it's going to come down to the courts which one's legal and illegal. So Pennsylvania, not over, not even close to over. There's going to be a legal fight for weeks in Pennsylvania. Georgia, very, very close. It's already going to a recount. I mean, you remember the recount in Florida. Al Gore thought he won. He never won. They did a recount. It's not my opinion. They're doing a recount in Georgia. It's already official. Trump filed for a recount in Wisconsin. They're fighting for a recount there. In Arizona, it's not even done yet. Trump just needs to get, I believe, 59% of the vote coming in. He's been getting between 58 and 59% already. So he needs to do slightly better. Like, he could win Arizona, he could win Georgia, he could win Pennsylvania. I know people want to act like it's over, but all these votes are they're within such small margins. They're all going to recount. They're all going to the courts because of how this election went down. So I'm not saying it's over. Like, to me, my best guess, and in my own mind, I'm the type that I fight till the end. So it's like, in my mind, it's 100-0. That's just the type of, like, I'm down 15 points with 2 minutes left. Everybody's giving up. I'm the type of player, it's not over. If I'm on the court, I'm balling till the clock stops. That's my mind. So in my mind, it's 100-0. But if I was to be honest and fair, you know, the betting odds right now on certain websites, they're either off or they say Trump has a 5 to 10% chance, and they're saying Biden has a 95 to 90% chance. So even at betting websites that still have it on, they're saying that Trump has like a 10% chance and Biden has a 90% chance. That's not over by any means. If you've ever played poker, and you're 90% favorite, you lose sometimes. And you're like, I had pocket aces. What the hell? It's like that happens. It's called flipping coins. Eventually, 9 out of 10, you don't win every time. But if I had to guess and be honest and be fair, I would say Trump has a between 30 and 50% chance. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I don't think he has a 100% chance, but I think it's the real odds between all the courts and the recounts and what they can accumulate. I think he still has a 30 to 50% chance, which is very high, considering what they're saying. So it's nowhere near over. It could be a Biden win, it could be a Trump win, but it's like people are not, the media is not reporting it accurately. And my next video is just going to expose them and make them look like the retards they are. Excuse my language. But, I have to say, I'm not sorry. I have a dictionary over here. I don't feel like grabbing it because I spilled water on it. So the water's like drying off because I spilled water on my dictionary. But I have a dictionary from the 1800s. Now this is like the left wing in the media. They say if you say the word retarded, we need to delete your video because that hurts people's feelings. The word retarded is an English word that goes back for hundreds of years, and to retard. Retarded means to slow down. Progressive, you're progressing. You're getting better and better. Retarded, you're slowing down. Retarded actually means to lower in velocity. So like if your car is like braking to the red light, your car is retarded. You should start using the word retarded more. But I have to watch myself because they'll delete my whole freaking page. They'll be like, anomaly, he hates mentally handicapped people. It's like, that's not even what the word means. That's like a slang word that they made up in the late 1900s. And now it's the word of God. It's like, it's my fault that I read dictionaries. They read gender studies books written by like communist professors. I read dictionaries. I read the Communist Manifesto. I get to the core. I had an interview recently with Penthouse magazine, and it's this left-wing guy, and he's talking about communism. I'm like, bro, I'm not the one to argue with. Like, he's left-wing. He's like, that's not what communism is. I'm like, bro, that's what you think communism is. I was like, I got the book right here, chief. And then he shut down because it's like, what are you going to say? I'm taking the W. But anyway, someone said we can't say anything anymore. Yeah, they're trying to steal this election. I mean, it's one thing to be like, listen, Biden is the projected winner. We think so. It's like, okay, we get it. You think so. But they're like, you can't think voter fraud exists. It's not real. There's no way. They're trying to steal this election. And in my new video, I have all the evidence, and I didn't make it up myself. You know the way I do my videos. It's coming from mainstream news articles and others. I know what they're doing. They're trying to steal this election. I don't even want to say it. Someone said, I love the hair. Thank you. Where can we see that debate? What debate? Oh, me. Well, you're not going to see the debate. It was me and the Penthouse interviewer. You're not going to see it because I'm going to be in the Penthouse magazine. So I have a bunch of Penthouse magazines over there, not because I'm sitting here whacking off, because they're trying to give me a deal. Penthouse is trying to sign me as like the editor-in-chief or something to give me a 1-year deal to move their brand into politics. They actually have a level head. Like they do pretty well, and they have the brand to actually like power through some of these other shitty media companies. So I'm debating it. But anyway, you're not going to see the debate. You're going to see the interview. It was an interview, but he was like debating me. It wasn't a kind interview. It's like when Trump goes on to 60 Minutes. You get what I'm saying? It's like I'm in the hot seat. It's like everything's rigged against me. They're like, COVID, you killed hundreds of millions. It wasn't supposed to be a debate. It was supposed to be an interview. But he was a left-wing guy at Penthouse. The guy who runs it is right-wing, is trying to sign me. But I'm like, I don't mind a good debate. I'm like, so it's not a debate. It's going to be a feature on me, but it's like, God forbid this guy writes it. He's going to be like, oh, we killed everybody with COVID. Like, doesn't matter. I handle myself well. Johnny said you didn't spill water on the dictionary. No, I did. But here, I'll give you guys a secret. I'll show you. I'll show you two things. All right, I'm going to get it. So I have two things in my possession that are really old. The dictionary I spilled water on, the 1800s dictionary, it's a new print. So the dictionary is from 1812, but it's a reprint. So it's new. I bought it on Amazon. You can get one. Just search Webster Dictionary. Buy the first Webster's Dictionary. It's like $40 or $80. So I could buy another one. This is actually an old book. You see this? Look how old this is. This is an encyclopedia I bought at the West Hollywood Farmers Market or something, or whatever that little get up is. 1889. This is from 1889. So this is actually a print from 1889. This already is all messed up because it's so old. This I did not spill water on. The other one I spilled water on, but it's a reprint, so I don't really care. You get what I'm saying? It's like I'll just buy another one if I have to. It's not old. It's like a new version. Let me see. I'm going to read this. Someone said, you all really need to understand who runs the court system too. It's the Illuminati. The Supreme Court is infiltrated. Well, the Illuminati is just a word that, it's just a broad word now. Everybody, it's like, everything's the Illuminati. We get it. But yeah, the Supreme Court, there's different players involved. There's different people with different agendas. But overall, Trump has a pretty good chance in the Supreme Court. There's certain people who are on his side, certain people who aren't. But at the end of the day, it should be fine. I'm not worried about it. Let's calm down. Do you know the Carmen has killed a lot of priests in the 1920s who took over Mexico? I don't know about that, but you can inform people. Someone said, wait. All right, let's wait. Let's wait for him. Someone said, I have a Bible printed in the 1930s. Said William, that's dope. Yeah, I'm big on like any original print from the 1800s. That's awesome. I want to get an old Bible. That's a good play. That's awesome. Old books are cool. Someone said 130K votes are thrown out in Georgia. Here's the thing. There's going to be a standoff. I read that. It's a Gateway Pundit article. They're talking about 130,000 votes might be illegitimate. So, the Democrats kind of went rogue. Like the Democrats in Fulton County, in Atlanta, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, the Democrats in Milwaukee, they don't like to listen to the rules. And they like to this whole year has been crazy. So there's a lot of practices they were doing that will be eventually ruled on, whether it's in Philadelphia, you're supposed to have poll watchers, and the Supreme Court ordered, I believe, that they have to separate any ballot that came after Election Day. They have to separate it. If they didn't separate it, they're in trouble. That was a Supreme Court order. So the Democrats are going rogue. They're trying to have a standoff. So eventually the Supreme Court's going to come in and say, hey, did you do what we said? And the Democrats in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania are going to be like, no, we didn't listen to you. So they're probably going to lose that if they don't even try to listen. So I believe a lot of that's happening in Georgia too, where, there's a real legal battle. This is going to drag on for days. This is going to drag on for weeks. But either way, the communists or the media, whatever you want to call it, the globalists, you can name it, they love destabilization. The theme of this year is destabilization. So they destabilize the economy. Not hard to figure out how when they shut down the country. They destabilized our social, cohesion with the George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and, all these things where people are out rioting. So either way, they just told everybody that hates Trump, they told them that Joe Biden won. Joe Biden did not win. There's a high chance that Joe Biden can lose, much higher than they're saying. Could he still win? For sure. He's probably the favorite, but not by as much as they're saying. If he loses, people are going to freak out. They have insurance policy on insurance policy. So, no question, they could throw out 100,000 ballots in Georgia, and then they're going to freak out and say they're suppressing the vote. And then Trump's going to say, no, those were illegal votes. It's going to be a shit show. But, bring it on. I don't care. I'm not worried either way. Someone said Trump's SCOTUS picks were Bush Gore lawyers. Well, this is the problem with a lot of people. A lot of the QAnoners, no offense, but they said, Barr's a superhero. Bill Barr is kind of like an old Republican as well, era. And Bill Barr oversaw the Epstein thing. You remember the Epstein thing? You can't even go to 7-Eleven. If you go to 7-Eleven and try to steal a Slurpee, they got you on the 7-Eleven camera. If wherever, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, you're on the camera. You're talking about an Epstein. He was in jail with the most high-tech jail. They should have 1,000 cameras that are not even impossible to turn off. And they can't find the cameras. Bill Barr oversaw that investigation and said he didn't find anything suspicious. So this is the problem. It's QAnoners trust the plan. Bill Barr's the best. It's like Bill Barr did nothing. As far as the Supreme Court nominee, Clarence Thomas is fantastic. Alito's good. I forget the other conservative guy's name. Justice Roberts is a Bush-era Supreme Court nominee. He might as well be a Democrat. He's not going to rule in favor. But then you have Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh. Who knows which way they're going to rule? Kavanaugh, you can't really trust these people. Hopefully they rule the right way. But overall, I hope Amy Coney Barrett rules with Trump, but she could not. I don't really trust her. So, we'll see what happens. You can't really tell with some of these people. Who's who? You know, like Lindsey Graham, sometimes he's against Trump, sometimes he's for Trump. He wants to start a war really bad. He's like, bomb Iran, bomb Syria. But then he turns around and fights for like Brett Kavanaugh. So it's like, I don't know who these people are. The only one that I could kind of figure out is Trump. That's why I like Trump. The rest of them, there's lots. Oh yeah, Gorsuch. Yeah, he should be fine, but we'll see. Someone said I have an 8,000-year-old Bible written by Baron Trump. That's fantastic. That'll be worth a lot of money someday. Let me see. Do I think it's possible to convince Democrats, moderates at least, to understand what is happening right with the fraud, irregularities, and countless evidence going on? I don't know. I mean, if you can't change it, you can't get upset at it. Like, I have friends that are progressive. I'm sure I have friends that are Democrat. I think the friends that are like hard Democrat, we just understand at this point. Like, I don't hate them. Hopefully they don't hate me. Maybe they do. But overall, it's like we're living in two different worlds right now. So we'll see what happens, you know? But with some of my like Bernie friends, they're like, it's over. I'm done chasing them in circles. It's like, in my opinion, it's like, if you're, no offense, but if you're over 40 and you're still like a socialist, like, I don't care what you think anymore. It's like, that's fine. We can agree to agree on some things, regime change or disagree. But it's like, if you don't get it by now, you'll probably never get it, because it should be pretty obvious. But anyway, you know, if you're younger, you're in school or something, I mean, you're 22, 23, maybe you're 30, 35, you know, there's always a chance that you could come around. But, you know, you can't, everyone's not going to be the same. That's what makes the world go around. You need to agree to disagree. What the problem is, in my opinion, and unfortunately, I think Trump supporters actually understand this, which is bizarre, because it used to be liberals. To me, conservatives and Christians used to be like no fun zone, like, you know, don't say. And now it's like Christians and conservatives are like, you could say whatever you want, and then it's liberals who have gone insane. But you know, the media is psychologically at war with everybody, and Trump called them fake news, guys. Even when I was liberal, I never liked the news. I always knew that the news was like starting wars and George Bush was a phony. I never liked the news. And Trump comes along and says the news is fake. The news is fake. So liberals are now like pro-intelligent, like they think like the news is the best. It's like, guys, you're on the wrong side. You know, it's not that Trump and Republicans are perfect, but there's a whole new movement on the right wing of like anti-war. And like George Bush and Dick Cheney, they're all going to work with Joe Biden. Democrats are celebrating. We got rid of Trump. You're going to put Dick Cheney back in the White House. Like, these are people that you hated 8 years ago. These are the worst Republicans. The Lincoln Project are just like, you know, they're trying to figure out which country in the Middle East they could bomb. So we're building this movement that's like pro-holistic, you know, anti-media, pro-freedom, you know, pro all this stuff, and then like they're just believing the psychological war. So it's not even their opposition of Republicans. I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, Mitch McConnell sucks, and I was like, you think I really care about Mitch McConnell? Like, some things he does that are good that help me, but overall, yeah, I'm not like, I don't have Mitch McConnell posters on my wall. So if you don't like Mitch McConnell, I don't really care. You know, like, I'll see eye to eye with the Democrat. They're like, this guy's a phony. I'm like, yeah, totally. But like, if you think like the media is your best friend when they're waging psychological war on America constantly, and like where they're leading liberals is so pathetically like retarded, it's embarrassing. You know, to me, it's like pretty sad, like the direction they're going, and it is what it is. Like, I get on some of these progressive shows and they don't even know what to say to me because they've never been challenged. Like, I'm not a normal Republican. These Republicans have all these talking points like this, that, they don't even make sense. So I go in these progressive things and I try to explain to them why their health care doesn't work. They're like, we want everyone to have health care. And I'm like, yeah, of course, I want everyone to be healthy, but like, that doesn't address the root causes of health. That doesn't address the food industry. That doesn't really address the pharmacy industry. That doesn't address like personal diets. And what it does is put the whole health industry in the hands of the government. So you're handing all health over to the government, and then they have a mandate. Get used to that word. Mandate means force everybody to do something. Joe Biden uses it constantly. Then they mandate everyone to do everything. So it's not health care. It's like government control of the health industry and forcing you into it. And I say that to like a Bernie Sanders supporter, and they're like, but we just want, they don't know what to say because their brain scrambles because they've never actually heard a conservative person say something like that. They're always just like saying something stupid. But that's not my fault. I don't control what other people say. But it's like they don't get that like giving the government everything is going to end up getting them killed. Which I'm like, if Biden wins, I think Trump's going to win. But if Biden wins, I'm just going to move to South Dakota and I'm going to laugh hysterically while they destroy their own cities. Like, people are like, well, if Trump wins, they're going to burn down the cities. Like, not my city. They're going to burn down their own cities. They're going to burn down New York City. Don't care anymore. I love New York City, but I don't need to go back there. That's fine. You can destroy it. They're going to destroy Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle. It's not my problem anymore. I love New York City, but it's like, and I have friends there. You know, my friends will hold it down. I got boys that, you know, we got gangsters out there. They'll hold their hood down. You know, people will fight for Manhattan, but for me, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be on a farm somewhere. And I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I love my friends in New York. I know a lot of people love New York, but it's like, they're not burning down my city. They just burn down Democrat cities. So I don't want to live in a Democrat city personally. But why South Dakota over Texas? If I move to South Dakota, if it ends up happening, it's because Kristi Noem, first of all, smoke show, total smoke show, but it's not about looks, okay? That's shallow. She's against the lockdown. She's the only, even more than Trump. She was the only governor who was actually always against the lockdown. She doesn't believe in lockdown. She doesn't believe in mask mandates. You could go to, I went to South Dakota 2 months ago. I was in a restaurant with a waitress. She didn't have a mask on. None of the waitresses wear masks. It's all free. So I'm not going to move to Texas. So I have Governor Abbott being a fraudulent phony, you know, putting mask mandates and lockdowns. If I'm leaving, I'm going to be free. If Joe Biden's going to be a dictator and a communist, I'm going to the most free state. And the most free state, in my opinion, South Dakota. I think, you know, Texas is not as free as it should be, and that's a problem. Someone said Taylor Swift 2020. For sure. I voted for Taylor. Someone said they want a civil war. Yeah, I'm not concerned. New Zealand for Trump. Swag. Someone said Florida. No, I love Florida. Florida's awesome. Listen, I love New York City. It's just like Democrats are ruining it. I love Florida. Florida is killing it. I love that Hispanics just came out for Trump by huge numbers. That's great because all these, you know, the farther right wing is like, oh, demographics, you know, because, you know, the racial demographics of America are changing, but like Hispanics are growing rapidly and Hispanics love Trump. So, you know, I see, you know, that's why I play the poor votar Donald Trump, you know, like the whole Cuban dance song. It's like, listen, God, Jesus Cristo, Jesus Christ, like we're going to take over the Hispanic vote. Next time we're going to get 80%. So I'm not even worried about that. We'll see what happens. Cubans for Trump, exactly. Latina for Trump, yeah, we got Latinos, Latinas, Brazilians. Yeah, we're getting 70-80% of the vote next time. Just give me a Spanish network. It's over. El Paso, people are dropping like flies from COVID. I mean, they're dropping like flies and they're saying they had COVID, but I don't know if they're dying from COVID or with COVID. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers and see how they're counting them. Is Trump controlled opposition and why not? It's a good question. I don't think he is controlled opposition. I think a lot of people misconstrued him as controlled opposition because he doesn't do everything they want and he works with certain people that you wouldn't want him to work with. But if you're on the sidelines and I'm on the sidelines and I say, if I was president, I wouldn't work with them and Netanyahu and this and that. And, you know, it's easier said than done. You have to make certain allies. That's just how you have to work. And you could see Trump is starting to realize who's not his friend. He unfollowed Netanyahu from Israel and, you know, I think AIPAC because they turned on him at this period. He realizes Fox is phony. To me, Trump is the real deal. I mean, I think he's proven himself, but you can think what you want. PP Bunny, what's up? Antarctica for Trump, totally. We're going to win Antarctica. That's 10,000 electoral votes. We win Antarctica, it's over. Is there a civil war? How do you see that playing out? I'm not really concerned with, you know, I don't like to think too far ahead. I mean, I do. I like to plan and be prepared, but I'm not worried about a civil war, but I would say just keep your eyes peeled on what goes on. They're destabilizing our country. And that's why in general, you know, there's got to be some sort of uniting, but it's not going to be Biden. They treated everyone like crap for 4 years, and then they're going to do all this, you know, you're this race. Like, it's got to be like, we're all American. Let's make moves. It's the left-wing strategy is not going to work. They're just going to beat each other up like they do in Portland. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it, but we'll see what happens. I mean, people are going to riot. People are going to throw little fits and stuff. Shit might get weird. I don't know. I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about it. What do I think about Trump's niece's book? I think she's like an unhinged liberal, and I think it's sad. She probably barely knows Trump. She was at like 2 Thanksgiving dinners or something, and now she tries to take him down. This is the sad part about politics. It's like if you don't agree with someone politically, it becomes like warfare, even with your own family. So I mean, Mary Trump, I think she's like, she has a bunch of cats. She probably hates herself and she blames Trump. I'm listening to her talk on Rachel Maddow, and it's just like 2 cat ladies. I'm like, we get it. You like cats. And I got a lot of followers who love cats. I have no problem with cats, but it's like, if you hate yourself and you have 20 cats and, you're watching Rachel Maddow, it's not everyone else's fault. Sometimes you just gotta, reevaluate. Am I a fan of Alex Jones? I like Alex. I'm not the biggest fan, but I like to listen to what he's doing. To me, I just, I take everything with a grain of salt, because a lot of what Alex says, like, he gets a bad rap. If you listen to him on Joe Rogan, podcast Alex is the best Alex. So he's the best on podcasts. But I feel like, sometimes InfoWars will get a little sensational. And, like during COVID, I was listening to him during COVID to see what he was saying, because I got my ear to the street. I'm hearing everything. He was like, everyone's going to die. He was freaking out about COVID. And then the next week he was like, never mind, it's not that bad. So sometimes I feel like he exaggerates and just goes full sensational just to get like a reaction. So, I think he's on point with a lot of what he says, and he gets a bad rap, but he also is very sensational. So he'll say things he doesn't mean just to like, hype it up. And I don't like that, because, I like to be calm and chill. So I do like him, but I'm not the biggest fan. I think he's a legend. He's like, he's like the first guy, he just was out there talking shit since like the 80s and 90s. So I always got love for Alex, but I wouldn't say I'm a loyal fan where I tune in all the time and believe everything he says. I just take it with a grain of salt. He's got great toothpaste too. Before the FDA shut down his toothpaste, he had Super Blue toothpaste, fantastic, and the FDA shut it down because he said something about COVID, and they shut it down. Let's see. Why does AOC say? Why does everyone say AOC is a commie? That's a good question. She is a communist. I mean, she might not admit it publicly, but I understand communism now. I really didn't for a long time. I only heard what Republicans said about communism. They're like, a lot of Republicans don't know what they're talking about either. But, I read the Communist Manifesto. I understand the ideology. I get what they're doing. She is a communist. Like, socialism is basically communism. I'm not trying to be one of those people like everybody who likes Trump is a Nazi. Like, no. But socialism, like the whole name of it kind of came from communism. Like the Socialist Workers Party, the Labor Union, they're all communists. They disguise communism as socialism because it's more acceptable. And then socialism's not really popular with Hispanics. So then Bernie says it's democratic socialism. They're communists. If you caught these people behind closed doors and you said, do you agree with Karl Marx? And they're like, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. A lot of what she's trying to do is communism. So I feel like that's why people say she's a communist, because she probably is. But, a lot of people, they think that ideology is going to work. And I'm not going to smear people as far as like, oh, you're a communist, you're a socialist, I'm so much better than you, because I'm not. I'm going to tell you exactly why from the book, The Communist Manifesto, why it's not a good idea. Communists think and socialists think, they think the workers are going to get the power. Bernie Sanders says, I'll give you one example and then I'm going to get to the manifesto. He says, raise minimum wage and, that's going to help workers. But if you raise the minimum wage, if you make the government say $15 an hour minimum wage, $20 an hour minimum wage, Amazon can afford that. Walmart can afford that. They should be doing it already, but they can afford that mandate. They might take a minor hit, but they'll eventually make up for it because they own everything. Who can afford a $20 an hour minimum wage or $15 hour? The mom and pop shop, the people who have, dishwashers, like little kids working, not little kids, but like 17, 18-year-olds working for $10 an hour. It's the small businesses that can't do that. So when you mass mandate things and the government forces people to do stuff, it sounds good, but in general, it's like with lockdowns. It's like, well, we're going to lock down to get rid of the virus. Then you destroy millions of businesses. And it's like, what did Amazon do? They made more money. Apple made more money. Gates made more money. All the billionaires made more money. And all the small businesses lost out. And all of the Democrats supported that. And it's the same with the Communist Manifesto. I read the book. It's very short. It's very stupid. But in general, Karl Marx cons people into thinking this is a movement for the working class. This is like, we're going to take from I think he uses the words bourgeoisie, or I don't know how to say it. It's like a French word, and then proletariat, the working class and the elite ruling class. And he says they have too much wealth. We need to basically seize it, destroy capitalism, and then redistribute it. But in the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx wants to have control of all the media. This is not my opinion. It's in the book. He wants control of all communication. So right now, who owns communication? Apple, Facebook, YouTube, Google, all these companies that own everything from phones to internet companies, they all have the same left-wing ideology and borderline communism. It's because communism is not a threat to the working, it's not a threat to the elite class. It's the elite class's scheme, in my opinion, to consolidate power. So they want total control of communication. They want total control of central banking. Lenin said, if we install a central bank in your country, we basically are 90% of the way to communism. And Lenin was one of the fathers of communism. They call it Marxist-Leninism, Marxist-Leninist. Karl Marx, who wrote it, Lenin, who created the Communist Party. He knew once they got a bank, they control your country. So how is this a working class movement when they want total control of communication, meaning the working class doesn't have, the freedom of speech? They want total control of banking, which means once they control the banks, guys, this is the story for hundreds of years. This is why people always get pissed off. They don't tell the story because they take control of the banks and they put everybody in debt. Once everybody's in debt, you have no money. Once you have no money, you're poor. Once you're poor, you're fucked. Once you're fucked, things get weird. Once things get weird, people rebel. So this is the story of humanity. They control the banks, they control the media, they want total control of transportation. So in AOC's Green New Deal and Gavin Newsom's, we're going to get rid of all oil cars by 2040. It sounds cool, right? Because it's like Elon Musk. I like that guy. Let's get rid of all, but they're trying to control all transport. They're trying to control all transportation. If you control all transportation, and that's what Karl Marx wrote in his book, you control all media, you control all banking, and then also this is the cornerstone in the Communist Manifesto. Karl Marx said, perhaps this is the most important thing I'm writing in the whole book. He said, destroy private property. Private property under communism doesn't exist. So if you're a black entrepreneur and you have a business and a house, under communism, you don't have a business and a house. You have no property. Think about how many millions of black, Hispanic, white, and I'm not trying to pander. I'm just saying to the left, they say, oh, black people, Hispanics, we're trying to help them. There's millions of people of every ethnicity, including white, who nobody seems to care about anymore. That's why Trump lost the white vote, because he panders for everyone else. And then people are like, what about me? But anyway, nobody's allowed to have private property. So if you don't have the banking, you don't have media, you don't have transport, you don't have property, you're screwed. It's a human slavery scheme in order. I mean, Karl Marx, his grandfather was a Talmudic rabbi. My suspicion, I know people will say this is hate speech or something, he was probably a puppet of the bankers. He was trying to convince the working class, give me the banks, give me the media, and everything will be really good for you. And it's just not true. So I think AOC is a communist, Bernie Sanders is a communist, and they're either very evil and wicked or very naive and very foolish, because I don't think the book was ever written to give the working people money. They pitch it as that, and a bunch of these angry kids in Portland. But look at these type of kids. They want to take down, all these businesses and stuff. Do you think these communist kids who are burning down the federal building, do you think they could run a society? Do you think they could create a court system, even though ours is corrupt? These people can't do anything. You destroy order for these people, and you're going to get chaos because they're not smart enough or honest enough or rational enough to run a society. So they want to destroy capitalism and replace it with what? What do you replace it with when you just gave the bankers all the money? When you just gave the media to the elite ruling class? Where do the workers get the money? How does this work? It doesn't work. It's never worked. There's a reason it's never worked. In the Bolshevik Revolution, it's led to millions of people dying. Millions of people died. Why? It's not hard to figure out. Give AOC power, give Portland power over the entire United States. They don't enforce the law. They allow people to riot. You don't have private property. You don't have the freedom of speech to speak out against what they're doing. There's a reason why they all support Black Lives Matter. I say Black Lives Matter is a Marxist organization, hidden, disguised as a black power organization. It has nothing to do with black people. And they say, well, if it's a Marxist organization, why does, this is the debate I had. He says, why does Amazon support it? Why do all these big corporations support it? I said, because communism's not really a threat to them. He said, no, yeah, it is. We want to get rid of the businesses. I'm like, you want to get rid of the businesses, but if you read the Communist Manifesto, you're giving up everything. So Amazon's not going anywhere. You're not taking Amazon down. During this pandemic, Amazon just doubled. Their ratings their percentages are through the roof. Every tech company's destroying you. They've replaced you with virtual fans at the NBA games, and the halftime show is sponsored by Oculus Rift, which is the virtual reality company that Facebook owns. How come only right-wingers can figure this out? It's because left-wingers don't have common sense anymore. And these communist, Marxist, progressive, commies, they're not smart enough to figure this stuff out. They're like, we just want this. It's like, you're not even noticing, like, they replaced you at sports games with virtual robot fans and replaced the halftime show with virtual robots, and they have communist phrases on the court. And you're worried about free healthcare, which is really just government-owned, run healthcare. Just because it's free, it's taxpayers, so you're forced to pay for it, but also you can't opt out. All these schemes are just pro-elite class, pro-government schemes, but they don't have common sense. So like Jimmy Dore, you watch Jimmy Dore, he's a really nice guy, really funny guy, I think. He's just always saying real stuff, and it's like real, and you're like, this guy's great, I like Jimmy Dore. And then he's always like, free healthcare. It's like, free healthcare is government-mandated healthcare, government control over the health industry, mandated, which means you can't opt out, you still have to pay for it, you can't opt out, there's no private insurance, you have no way to basically, choose another plan or choose to reject that plan. It's government control over the health industry. It's not an improvement, although the health industry already is bad. But they don't pay. Like, have you seen any progressives or socialists or Marxists do any sort of coronavirus reporting? Who's doing all the good coronavirus reporting? Me, right-wingers, Tucker Carlson, holistic health experts who are now starting to lean right-wing because the left wing is just like totally clueless, even though they eat vegan stuff. It's like, what part of this year could you not figure out? You get what I'm saying? They don't have common sense. And communism is an elite slavery scheme, basically disguised as a working class revolution. And Karl Marx was a liar and a con artist and probably knew exactly what he was doing. And, the reason people think AOC is a communist is because she is a communist. She's just not going to say it. All right, let's keep it moving, folks. Jay Bree said the left is brainwashed. It's just sad because if you go back to, George Carlin. George Carlin was a liberal. George Carlin said it's one big club and you ain't in it. George Carlin said, F you, F this. He'd make fun of Christians, even though, it's a little harsh, but whatever. He was a liberal, but he was like a free-thinking, critical-thinking liberal. Under like Obama and then really to like Trump, the mainstream mind-controlled media just hijacked liberalism, and it's really just, they are brainwashed, and it's pathetic because they used to be like more woke than the right wing, and George Bush got the right wingers fooled, and then Obama got the left wingers fooled, and then the left wing just got full on insane under Trump. And it's like they're the party of brainwash now. They're being duped on every level, like systemic level, into like accepting lockdowns. Like, you think it's good to put a muzzle on your face for 2 years because you're afraid of a coronavirus? Like, they're like, I see these waitresses, I feel bad, but they look like, sex slaves. Like, they look like, if you ever seen the dog mask that like a sex slave would use if you're into kinky stuff, that's what they look like to me. They look like, it's like, these creepy pedo politicians have just put you in like sex slave. They've just made everybody like dress like muzzled dogs. And like nobody thinks that's weird. Only right-wingers could figure that out. Only Trump supporters could figure that out. George Carlin would have been all over this shit. It's one big club and you ain't in it. Why is George Bush mad at Trump? Why is Obama mad at Trump? Why is Fox News turning on Trump? Because it's one big club. Trump was in it, but then he, actually stood up for the people. That's why they hate him so much. The left has fallen so far. It's astonishing. I don't understand how they don't realize it yet, but they'll figure it out. Someone says Sharia law. I mean, Sharia law would be better than communism. I'm not a Muslim, but I would rather Sharia law than communism, just to be honest. Sharia law is like closer to Christianity than communism is. And I'm not Muslim. I don't want Sharia law, but God bless, Allah bless my Muslim brothers and sisters. I love Jesus Christ. I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but I would rather Sharia law than communism, to be quite honest. You'd get a lot of the degeneracy out of the way for sure. Muslims take a more hardline stance. Someone said Dominion voting system. Guys, I got the best fit. I hear you. I'm reading the comments. I got it. I got it all documented. My video is going to be out in the morning or tomorrow midday. I got the best video coming out. I got it all. I documented it. It's coming. All right, I'm going to read this. Someone said Trump is still a Zionist and is owned by the elites. Please do not say he's in the club. I'll tell you what, though. Trump, he unfollowed Netanyahu in AIPAC today. He's definitely, I've said he is a Zionist, but I think he's playing the game, and I think he's for America. I really think he loves America. I think he tried to balance the act between Israel and America, but I think he realizes who's who now. I think he understands what's going on. And trust me, it's easy for you to sit there and say, or me to sit there and say, Trump should do this with Israel, or Trump's a Zionist. But if you're in the White House and you're surrounded by, everybody, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, this person, that person, George Bush's people, it's easy for you to sit on your computer and say this. But if you're in the White House, you got Saudi Arabia, you got Israel, you got Iran, you got North Korea. This is big boy. This is big league. You know what I'm saying? It's like me saying, yeah, I'd fight Ray Lewis, and then I'm on the field with him and he tackles me. It's like, yeah, it's not that easy. So, Trump's a big boy. He's on the big boy field. You got to give him a little bit of leeway, because you could take a hard line stance and be like, I don't want this or that. You could have Biden for 8 years and see how much you get. So I think Trump is successfully navigating what is really almost an impossible playing field. And I think he's done a great job. And I think his next 4 years, if he gets it, when he gets it, he's going to do an even better job. Someone said Trump knew Bibi. This is what people don't understand, too. It's like, if I say, I don't like Netanyahu or something, whatever, no one cares because I'm not at these events. But Trump he's doing business with these people. You get what I'm saying? He's a smooth operator. You think Trump doesn't know who's who? He's probably made some mistakes along the way, but Trump is way smarter than people think he is. And when you're doing business, there's a way to go about it, and I think some people give him a hard time. I understand why. It's good to hold him accountable and call things out. You don't want to be like a total clueless, fanboy and not notice these things. But I think he knows what's going on. And I think it's I'll give you an example. This might be controversial, but you could look it up. If you look up in the Nixon White House, he had a conversation with Billy Graham. Billy Graham is one of the most famous pastors or evangelicals in modern Christian history. I'm not talking Martin Luther modern Christian history, but last 10, 15, 100 years. Nixon was talking to Billy Graham, and Billy Graham was talking about, Jewish/Israeli influence in media and everything. And he was like, yo, they're running the country. And then he got caught on the Nixon tapes, and he apologized. He said, I'm so sorry. That was anti-Semitic. I didn't mean to say that. I'm so sorry. And then Nixon got removed from the White House. So all I'm just trying to say is, from that point until now, Israel has a lot of influence on American politics. They try to say it's anti-Semitic. To say that, it's just a fact as far as media, but not only that, AIPAC and, both parties and donors. If you look at the donor class of who's really, funding both parties, this is not even my opinion. It's I feel bad saying this because people are going to think it's hate speech, but, 50% of Hillary Clinton's donation money came from Jewish people. 25% of the Republicans. Sheldon Adelson's the biggest Republican donor. He has a massive Zionist agenda. He loves Israel. This is no secret. So the amount of money influence politics, and when it comes to media and such, it's huge. So, that was 30, 40 years ago when Nixon was there. Now you can only imagine how much, power certain people have. And, you can say things when you have a cell phone and you're not in the White House. But if you're in the White House, you got to understand who has the money. And when it comes to, American politics, and when it comes to foreign politics, like Iran, you have Saudi Arabia, you have Israel, obviously, you have America, you have billionaires here and there. It's a very fine line of what you can and can't do. There's a reason Saudi Arabia never gets called out. It's because out of all the Arab countries, they have the money. It's not anti-Islamophobic to say it. It's they got the bucks. So they're in a different standing with America, and they have the petrodollar together, and it keeps the U.S. currency afloat. So you get what I'm saying? There's big games being played. So it's not like a lot of people who hate Trump for being a Zionist. They think that the world is framed, and I'm not trying to be rude, but they think the world is framed like America and Israel, and that's all there is. It's not true. China is real deal. Like, people always say, well, Alex Jones is a Mossad agent because he never talks about Israel. He always talks about China. He does kind of have a blind spot for Israel, but China is a real thing too. China is something. Like, Saudi Arabia is something. Israel is something. Like, there's the World Health Organization is something. These are all pieces on the board. You can't just like zone in on Israel and say it's all Israel. That's all I know. It's like, I get that because it's so underreported and people get a hard on for it because it's like super underreported and everyone's afraid to say it because they'll ban you and call you an anti-Semite. And I respect it. It's like, it's a hard thing to talk about. If you talk about it, your chances of getting your PayPal banned just go up 5,000% because they're trying to take your banks away and stuff. But anyway, it's like but you can't just like give them, it's like, well, Trump doesn't do this. It's like, there really are a million pieces to this puzzle. So, you have to pick your allies, you have to pick your friends, you have to strike deals, and you can't just go and burn every bridge down. Trump burned down the World Health Organization bridge, the EU, United Nations, like, he burned a lot of bridges down. And, you can't burn every bridge down at the same time. So maybe he will now, though. He's got his back against the wall. It's like, yo, declassify everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, listen, you're trying to kick me out of the White House. You're trying to cheat the election. I'm about to declassify everything on you mofos. So we'll see what happens. I have a Parler. Parler, same name as Instagram, Dream Rare. Parler.com/Dream Rare or whatever. Someone said Mao was taught by Israel. I got to look into that. I don't know about Israel specifically, but yeah, when it comes to, the Communist Manifesto, it was written by Karl Marx. Karl Marx is Jewish. And a lot of, this is underreported, I think, but a lot of Russian, a lot of the Russia Communist Party was Jewish, a lot of the powerful people. So yeah, there seems to be a pattern that they don't want you to notice when it comes to communism. Does that mean everyone's communist? Absolutely not. That's the game that the media, and that's what I'm writing my book about, actually. If you say, it's the Chinese virus, they say, you hate China, you hate all Chinese people. It's like, no, but at the same time, like, China, at this moment is an adversary. So it's the same thing with Jewish. If you say anything Jewish, they just say you hate all Jews, you're anti-Semitic. It's not true. But if you notice certain patterns and power influences, they'll try to shut you down. But, I think I get what you're saying. I think there's definitely probably a connection there as far as Mao and communism there. But then, it's something that they're trying to crack down on pretty heavy, but it is what it is. PBB Bunny said, what do you think is coming in terms of the election in the next month or so? I'm going to make a video on it tomorrow, but basically what I'm saying is it's not over. Georgia's going to go to a recount. Pennsylvania's going to go to the courts. Wisconsin is likely going to go to a recount, and Arizona's not done counting yet. So if Trump can win North Carolina, which just froze its vote, Georgia, which, they're recounting and there could be some other stuff going on there. Pennsylvania almost definitely is going to the courts because they're just going nuts. Arizona is still, in the process. It's going to go to a recount, whether Trump wins it or not. He has a path to victory. I mean, it's not over. You're going to see the media claimed it for Biden, and it's not over. So they're going to try to get people riled up on both sides. We'll see what happens. It is what it is. But I would say be patient and this is psychological warfare. So if you like Trump, they're trying to make you sad. Everybody I know that likes Trump is sad. Everyone's like depressed. Everybody that I know likes Trump's all sad, all sad. Have you seen me sad yet? Have you seen me depressed? I'm not sad. I'm not depressed. I'm not buying into their psychological war. It's not over. And even if it was, I'll move on. I'll get on with my life. It's not a big deal. But it is a big deal. But either way, you can't beat it. It is what it is. But it's not over. They're trying to psychologically just crush Trump supporters, and then they're trying to psychologically boost up, Trump haters. So when it flips, or if it flips, they freak out. You get what I'm saying? It's like a total psychological war. So, is the watermark real? There are watermarks in ballots, but it's not the bombshell that they're claiming it is. Could it be something? Yeah, but to me, that's a fake bombshell. If you actually want to be honest, this is not my field. I don't know who's who, but whatever his name is, that one guy went on Owen Schroyer and talked about the bombshell. And then David Knight, who's also on InfoWars, called him a CIA shill and said he was coming on to trap InfoWars. I'm not saying it's true, but I saw Owen retract it and David call him a CIA guy. I'm not here to, I'm not someone who likes to falsely accuse people. Like, I don't know who's who. So I don't like to do that. You know, I like to treat others how I like to be treated. So I don't want to, if I don't know for sure about someone, I'm not going to accuse them of something of that nature. But you get what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was like a trust the plan, like Bill Barr's going to save you type thing, where it's like, oh, we already got him, the secret sting operation. It's trying to make you docile and like start celebrating like you already won when it's not over. The fight is going on, but the fight in Pennsylvania is not going to be the watermarked ballots. The fight in Georgia is not going to be the watermarked ballots. I would say, you know, most likely that's not even going to come into play, because the type of cheating with the voting machines and the type of fraud when it comes to absentee ballots and mail-in ballots, you don't need, it doesn't matter. There's so many available that the watermark would play no part in it. So overall, I would say that's kind of a lie. That's not a bombshell. And this is, I don't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, I don't think that's going to come into play. But this is what I think they do. I think there's certain like fake theories out there that they put out there to make you feel comfortable, so you don't actually like, you know, contribute to the fight. Like, they want you to be like docile and just like thinking it's already happening, but it is what it is. Someone said votes don't count, it's a selection. I don't know about that. I mean, this could be a huge ruse, but I mean, in general, my take, you can have your own take. I truly believe that, you know, with Biden and or Gore and Bush, it didn't really matter. You know, like, yeah, Bush was had more clout, so he won. Didn't matter. Obama, Romney, didn't matter. Trump, or I'm sorry, like McCain, Obama, they're the same person. It's the same thing. Trump is not the same. People wanna, you know, discredit what he's done, but the amount that he's given, just in energy, just in patriotism, just in calling out the media, just in doing overseas what nobody would have done. You could talk about what he's doing for Israel, but do you want to talk about Syria? Do you want to talk about how he de-escalated that war and cut a multi-billion-dollar CIA program so that they weren't, you know, receiving weapons, and that, you know, he wiped out ISIS? Do you think that was a mistake? He got along with North Korea. Do you think the intelligence communities wanted him to do that? He's done so much. Like, people want to just discredit him and say, your vote doesn't count, Trump's the same. He's really not, and your vote does count. That's why they're recounting. Trump was not supposed to win. It was supposed to be a system that either they could rig, or that no matter which way you voted, it doesn't really matter. You know, this is not the same, in my opinion. You could say it is, but people try to undercut what he's done. It's like, you know, they want a purist. They want someone to be like them. But it reminds me of the communists. No offense, but like psychologically, the communists and the Marxists in Portland, they say, we want someone like me. But the second they get someone like them, the whole city falls apart, because it's like they're not as great as they think. So I feel like all the people who hate Trump, they're like, Trump needs to be like me. It's like, no, I'm glad, no offense, but like, I'm glad Trump is not you, because like, you couldn't run the country. You could never be Trump. So like, it comes from like ego or something, where it's like, Ted Wheeler needs to do what I want to do. It's like, dude, you don't even brush your teeth. How are you going to run Portland? Like, your underwear is dirty. You've been wearing the same underwear for 4 days in your Karl Marx shirt. You're not fit to run a city, let alone your own life. You know, you're a loser. So I'm not saying you, but you get what I'm saying? It's like, everybody that's like, well, Trump needs to do what I want to do. It's like, you know, are you really this great leader? Are you like, you know, Caesar in another lifetime? Or maybe are you just a little irrational and just like over ambitious about certain things? And I don't know. That's my thought. I'm drinking coffee at 11:15. I'm a madman. What's the plan for you, man? That's a good question. Hold on. Let me drink my coffee and think about it. My plan is enjoy my life. I'll tell you what, when they were saying Biden won the election, whatever, I woke up, it was raining, and I'm just looking out, and I'm like, man, what a beautiful day. I'm not even joking. I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, I'm bummed about what they're talking about, but whatever. And I see the rain, and I see a rainbow, and I see the clouds come out, and it's just sunny, and it's like the perfect, I got a nice landscape, I got a mountain view, you know, at my new place. I'm like, man, I'm so blessed. I was broke 2 years ago. You know, I was living in a crappy apartment in the middle of Hollywood, Los Angeles, you know, and now I got a beautiful mountain view. So I was like, it is what it is. But then it's like, you know, we'll see what happens. If Trump wins, We'll see what happens. If Biden wins, we'll see what happens. We'll see what direction. If I'm going to make a I'm out move, it's going to be I'm going to South Dakota probably. But I might stay where I'm at. I like where I'm at. Maybe I'll see what happens. I'm not really worried about it. I'm trying to max out my life, go to the beach, enjoy myself, go on bike rides, work out, make videos, make moves, make America great again, make America better than ever, votar por Donald Trump, as they say. I'm not really worried. I don't know. It is what it is. I feel good. I feel like he can still pull it off. But if he doesn't, what am I going to do? Cry for a year? It is what it is. Then we got 4 years of Biden. I'll tell you what, too. I'm reading a lot of these older, World War II books and communism books and, Nazi books. And I actually have, I'm not even going to read it because it's not what I thought it was, but that Werner von Braun, if people don't follow, I'm not a big space guy. But Werner von Braun is a Nazi from Nazi Germany who came to America, and he founded NASA, basically. A lot of people don't know that. NASA was essentially started by a Nazi rocket engineer named Werner von Braun, who's friends with Walt Disney. So I bought his book about Mars because I don't believe anything the guy says. And I'm opening the book and it's all math equations. But it's I'm buying all these books because I'm trying to see everyone's perspective. And even though I don't believe in the Mars thing, I'm let's see what this guy's talking about. I don't even understand the book because it's all math equations. But, I'm trying to see what people are talking about because I don't believe the media. I don't even believe Republicans. They just say slogans. So I'm trying to read what people are thinking. And I'm seeing the same thing kind of replay from World War II. It's different, but at the same time, there's overlaps. And my thought is this, if Trump, I think he's going to win, but if he loses, what's going to happen is probably, I could see it going different ways. I don't have time to explain every way, but if it does get worse for a little while, I feel like there's going to be a resurgence of some. So that's how it always happens. If you push people, over too much, then they fly in the other direction, and then you're going to have this massive, way more powerful right wing. And I even see now, I think a lot of the trends are going in our direction culturally. If you look at Trump's demographics, Trump lost, if he ends up losing, he lost white vote. Why did he lose the white vote? Because no one wants to talk to white people. Everyone's so afraid to talk to white people. I got the Hispanic plan, I got the black plan. If you say you have the white plan, you look like a white supremacist and everybody hates you. So, he lost the white vote. He gained black votes. He gained a shitload of Hispanic votes. He gained gay votes. It's every demographic that they said he wouldn't gain, he gained it. So to me, it's we have all the fun. We have comedy, humor. The left is losing everything. It's all we're afraid to say this, he, her, and those are the pronouns. It's who cares? So, regardless what happens, if Trump wins, we're going to make America great again for 4 years. If Biden wins, they're probably going to fuck up and get, overtaken by Marxists, or, the next election, we just have to win bigger. I don't know. I'm not going to cry about it, but it's not over. I think he's going to win. I have the Biden wins newspaper. I'm going to frame it on my wall when Trump wins. It's going to be Biden won the election. It's going to be Gore winning the election. I'm going to frame it. Someone said, Trump supporters in heavy denial, ascending cosmic soul said. Well, here's the funny thing, and I don't want to spoil my next video, but it's you got people saying Trump supporters are sore losers. Multiple things. First of all, the Democratic Party never accepted the election. They lied about it ever since. They said that Russia hacked the election. They did all sorts of investigations to try to undermine it. They still haven't gotten over the last election from 2016. But also, it's not I think I'm a sore loser. It's not over. You'll see in a week. You'll see in 2 weeks. I don't need to sell you on what I'm saying, but the media said that Gore won. They posted on the television, Gore won. CBS, Dan Rather, Gore won. Newspaper, Gore won. Do you remember President Gore? I don't remember President Gore because it never happened. There's a picture of Truman holding up a newspaper that says Dewey defeats Truman. Who's Dewey? I've never even heard of the guy. That's how irrelevant he is because he lost the election. So, you think you're so confident because you're the media told me that he won. So look at the votes. Look at Arizona. I'm a non-biased person. I could take myself out of my bias. I want Trump to win. But take myself out of it, the odds of Trump winning are not even close to as low as you think. With Arizona, with Pennsylvania, with Georgia, with Wisconsin, multiple states are going to recounts. Multiple states he's still in. And Pennsylvania's going to the courts with all the malpractice they did. So We'll see who has the last laugh, bucko. If Trump loses, I don't care, but you're acting like this is a done deal. You're like, well, the media told me. They also told you Trump worked with Russia. The same media that told you Joe Biden won, even though it's not over, told you that Pokemon Go was the reason that they literally Pokemon Go worked with Russia to name Black Lives Matter names and rig the election. This is really what they said. They're like, Pokemon Go, Russia used Pokemon Go to change Pokemon names to Black Lives Matter names. It's like Michael Brown, and that somehow rigged the election because they changed it to Black Lives Matter. It's like, you can laugh all you want. You're listening to this media. This is the funny thing. Trump supporters mad, right? Make fun of me, but make sense, okay? You don't have to like Trump, but it's please disconnect from the media brainwash, or else you're just going to keep getting embarrassed because, I'm only just winning more. It's every time you question me, I just make a funny joke and everyone loves it. But anyway, let's read a few more. All right, it's 11:22. I'm out at 11:30. What happens if Trump victory comes out after January 20th? Folks, this could be the last election. We're talking, and I'm not trying to get in my Alex Jones mode, but I'm gonna get in Alex Jones mode. It's we're talking about virtual reality. We're talking about, technology. We're talking about 2020. This is a sci-fi movie. People wear masks. We'll see what happens. This could drag out forever. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's anybody that's haha, Biden. It's you must not be paying attention to 2020. If you think anything couldn't happen, you're not paying attention. It's if I would have said 2 years ago, they're going to lock down the country and martial law and everyone's going to wear masks. They're no, that couldn't happen. We're never going to wear a mask. And then this year, we need to wear a mask. Masks are good. I love masks. It's if you want to be a submissive sex slave, they have websites for that. If you want to put on the dog mask and crawl around, I'm not going to knock you. Everybody's got their thing. I'm just saying, don't make everyone do it. You get what I'm saying? Keep it in the bedroom, find a partner, and do your thing. But if you have to mandate, national dirty diaper, face diaper, dirty napkin, sex slave, dog face, mask to everybody else, now you're infringing on my rights. Just take your own little kink to the bedroom. Don't mandate that everyone has to wear your sex slave dog mask. I get it. These people are sex maniacs in Washington. They're always doing sex parties and stuff. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. It's they're where's the craziest place you had sex? And then Chrissy Teigen's that Obama thing. Literally that happened. And then John Legend looks at her and he's shh, don't talk about that Obama. It's we get it. You got these crazy sex parties where everyone's fucking each other. You guys are probably swapping wives and stuff, doing all sorts of things. Do what you got to do. Just stay off the Constitution, okay? If you want to wear the dog face, wear the dog face, but don't do a national dog sex slave mask mandate, dirty diaper face, just in case someone poops their face. It's too much. You're doing it, but it's I watch CNN and now Joe Biden one, I'm going to wear a mask forever. It's good for you. It's going to be fun for you. It's ridiculous. What do I think about Tucker Carlson 2024? Well, I don't know if Tucker even wants to run. Tucker seems like a genuine person, and genuine people usually don't want to be in politics. So I think people are saying Tucker wants to run. If he ran, he'd be a favorite as far as the right wing. People love Tucker. Tucker's one of the few people who can unite the right wing. As far as Trump, say what you want about him, he brings elements of the right wing together that most people can't. Tucker's the same type of person. Different personality, but if he ran, it would be good. If he did, he might not want to run though. Someone said he seems a little fishy at times. Everyone's got their thing. I don't see all this stuff, but I think as far as I've seen him talk, even to Cenk Uygur, he did a debate. He seems very genuine, and he seems able to correct himself. And to me, Tucker's leagues above a lot of other people on the right wing. So we'll see. What do you think of Boston charging people $300 not to wear a mask in public? Ask yourself that question. Go back in time a year and ask yourself that question. Talk to the 2019 version you and say, what do you think about Boston fining people for not wearing a dirty diaper on their face? It's insane. That's why I want to move to South Dakota, because I'm tired of this, but I'm too bougie. I don't know. I like the hot weather. I like the beach. I can't move to South Dakota now. I only move to South Dakota if it's the apocalypse. But actually, that's not true. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a hot tub or something in South Dakota. It's a great place. Someone said Charlie Kirk for his VP. I don't know. That's not my... we'll see what happens. I like Tucker, but I don't like his stance on Puerto Rico. I haven't seen what he said about Puerto Rico. I'm sorry if he looks at Puerto Rico unfavorably. God bless my Puerto Ricans. Boricuas in the house. Boricuas for Trump. Big pun for Trump. Do I believe in lizard people? No, it's not really a theory that is interesting to me. I mean, it's not that it's not interesting, but I'm not like, that's not like a thing that I really think about. If you believe in lizard people, I'm not going to shame you. I don't really look into it that much, but no, that's not my thing. But you see what I'm saying? I'm not going to like shut people down. Like some people are like, that's preposterous, shut up. It's like, I don't look into it enough. If that's your thing, you're like David Icke and you want to talk about lizard people, talk about lizard people. You're not hurting my feelings. I like when David Icke talks about lizard people. It's just not my thing. What's my nationality? Italian, Polish, Puerto Rican, Czechoslovakian, as far as I know. All right, 3 more minutes and I'm out. I'm going to get to editing. I might actually, this was good. I might actually upload this to YouTube tonight, and then I'm going to have a fire video out tomorrow. Someone said AOC list. Yeah, put me on the Gulag list. I tweeted out today, I said my Gulag better have a nice sound system, a basketball hoop, and some exercise machines. If my Gulag doesn't have a basketball hoop, I'm out. I got to go to a different Gulag. Someone said that the government's putting chemicals in the water and turning the friggin' frogs gay. The funny thing about that is if you look into atrazine, everyone laughs at that, but like it was a study. It was like some sort of, I think it was like Harvard or I don't remember the school, maybe not Harvard, but it's like the atrazine in the water and the frogs turning genders. Like that's actually a study. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's pretty funny. Someone said, gotta bring the gals to the Gulag. Gals at the Gulag. Someone said sex slave / dog mask. Doesn't it look like it though? Because people, listen, I wear a helmet, but some people wear the pointed mask, like the dog mask. I feel bad, but I'm like, I know that people have to do this, so I feel terrible, but I'm just looking at them and I feel like I'm at like a, it's like 2 a.m. and you're like, well, who brought me to this party? No, I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying? Like, where am I? This is not, why are you wearing the dog mask? All right, I'll drop it. What solidified me voting for Trump? That's a good question. I mean, yeah, I don't know what point of his term I would say like solidified the vote, but I don't know. Probably since inauguration, just comparing his record to Biden. I mean, everything. There's a few things that I would say annoyed me about Trump, but like he's ambitious. He is common sense. He's pragmatic. One of the biggest things in 2016 was like the wars overseas. He got along with North Korea, which is not easy to do, especially when they're trying to make you start a war with them. He ended the war in Syria. He essentially boiled it down to a standstill by defunding, rebel terrorist programs. That's like, no one wants to give him credit for that, but he did that. That alone, it's like I can't think of a single thing that Biden does better. Like if you compare everything from foreign policy, domestic policy, anything like economy, taxes, healthcare, like every single thing, I can't like it's to me like everything about Trump I like better. Anything I don't like about Trump, Biden's 10 times worse. To me, there's nothing even remotely desirable about Biden. Like I can't even think of one reason I wouldn't vote for Trump in this election. But I think a lot of people are low information voters, or they just like listen to what other people say. I don't know. It's not for me though. Do I think Kanye West sold out? No, I don't think Kanye West sold out, but I think Kanye West is Kanye West. And I think everybody wants Kanye to be who they want him to be, but like Kanye's Kanye. Like he's running for president, but he's not going to win, but he thinks he can win, but he's not really even on half the ballots. Like he's just winging. He's like an energy ball who's got like good ideas, and his ideas just go like this. It's like bang, bang. You get what I'm saying? It's like shaking up a bottle of like seltzer water and then opening it and it just fizzes all over the place. But his ideas are dope, so it's like a good fizz. Like you can't control him. So it's like anybody that's like, did he sell? He didn't sell out, but he's never gonna be what other people want him to be. It's like you gotta just let Kanye cook. Sometimes it's gonna be weird. Sometimes it's gonna be epic. But he's just gonna keep cooking. So there's no controlling him. It's not always a hit, but it's like, when it's not, it's like Kanye's mistakes are probably better than most people's like best hits. Someone said he's a free floating soul. Exactly. I think so. Let me see this. Vinny said, do you think Q knew this election fraud would happen and have a plan with it? No, dude, I think, no offense, but like, listen, I think it's good to look into human trafficking. That's important. I think it's good to understand the dynamic of what's going on. That's important. The Q stuff, in my opinion, and I've gotten backlash all year, I think it's 80% real stuff, 20% distraction to run you in circles. People act like Q is Jesus Christ. It's like people put so much faith into Q, they don't even listen to Trump. Trump is the most straightforward president ever. So when he tells you on his social media, he's telling you how he's going to fight the voter fraud. Giuliani's telling you how they're going to fight the voter fraud. There is no secret sting operation for the watermarks. There's watermarked ballots, but that's not their sting operation. So it's like people put so much faith into Q, they don't even listen to Trump. So it's like Q told everybody Bill Barr was going to arrest people before the election. Q has always been like a psychological operation. A Psy-Op for the better and a Psy-Op for the worse. It got a lot of people to support Trump. It got a lot of people to investigate human trafficking, but it also kind of scrambled people's brains where they don't know what to believe. Disinfo is necessary. I shouldn't believe Trump. I should believe Trump. Don't listen to Trump. He's using reverse psychology. Bill Barr's going to arrest all my enemies. Bill Barr was never going to arrest your enemies. The Durham report was a total flop. Virtually every big, prediction that Q has had has always been a flop because it was never designed. It was like a hope porn. Like what you want to happen is always happening, but it's not true. It was like, I think like a psyop in some senses, but there was a lot of good information and good things that came out of it. There's a lot of bad things that came out of it. But overall, I think people need to realize like you shouldn't listen to an anonymous message board poster who tells you not to listen to the president that you think is going to save you. It's like, there were people that are like, no, don't listen to Trump. It's like the whole thing is based off of Trump and you're not going to listen to Trump. It became like just running people in circles. I think it's time for people to realize that and just like, it was what it was. It was did good things, it did bad things, but I think people put way too much faith into it. I think most of the major predictions were pretty wrong, but it's sprinkled in with information that you can get this information from a lot of people. Somebody who does deep dive and research, they know a lot of stuff, so they tell you a lot of things that you might not know if you're new to conspiracy theories, or maybe you've always been into conspiracy theories and you're like, you see that this guy's very talented because whoever runs the message board is very talented and they know how to, connect certain dots. You watch it and then you put your full faith in it because they've designed it in a way to like make it seem like it's leading to this place that you want it to be. To me, I never really, I never hated it. I was never like, it's fake. It's not fake. A lot of it's real. But to me, it was always like, I started seeing how people acted this year, and that made me more, I never disliked the posts. I disliked the people who followed the posts. Not all of them, but like people were freaking out at me. They were saying lockdowns are good. This is a secret operation. Podesta's getting arrested on Easter. Bill Barr's got a plan. Like all of those predictions were wrong. I don't know who, like, maybe you made that up off of what you said, but someone said Q ain't over. It's become like a religion. Like it's like Trump could lose and you would still believe in Q. It's like you believe in Q more than Trump. It's a psyop. I mean, your whole plan is based off of Trump saving you, and then Trump says something and you don't even believe what he says because you believe this side theory that never happens. I mean, Jeff Sessions was never saving you. Bill Barr did nothing about Epstein. Bill Barr did nothing about any of this stuff. The election is essentially almost over, and Bill Barr and the Durham report never happened. But this is the problem with the Q people. They never give up. It's like anytime they're wrong, it doesn't matter. They're wrong. They could be wrong 1,000 times. And my issue is like, it's not that you need to know everything. Like, it's okay to be like, I don't know what's going to happen. But the Q people, like, they're like, you don't understand. You're not smart as me. It's like, you're not that smart. My IQ is probably triple yours, but I'm not. It's not like an intelligence battle, but it's like these people that think they're like geniuses. And they're like, imagine if I sat here and talked to you guys and it was like, you're not as smart as me. You'll never understand what I know. Why would you watch me? Like, I'd make you feel less than me. Like, I'm like, what I know is nothing that you can't know. You get what I'm saying? It's like, you're like, they're always like bugging out, but like, you don't understand. They're like 100%. Oh, it's going to happen before the election. You'll see. And it's like, it never happens. And then they just switch to another theory. It's like, you were wrong. It's okay. You were wrong. But like, the problem is not you were wrong. The problem is that you told everybody, like arrogantly, snarkily for the last year that you're 100% sure. And then when I explained why I disagreed, you said, you don't read the post. It's like, bro, you're not like a freaking Nobel Prize winner. Like, you're not a genius that like reads posts I can understand. I've read the post, but like, yeah, I get it. They're this big. You think I can't read them? Like, you'll never understand what I know. It's like, dude, if it and this is the problem with the lockdown. During the lockdown, what really needed to happen was people needed to mobilize. What people ended up doing was they thought it was a good idea. They're like, the lockdown's good. There's the watermark ballot thing. It's like there's always this new thing to run people in the wrong direction. Human trafficking is real. Trump is the real deal. But the watermarked sting operation is not real. So you're going to talk about that for 3 weeks. You're going to say, we got it in the bag. It's all us. And then when it doesn't happen, they never apologize. They just move to the next theory that they're wrong about. I said on my Twitter, I'm like, do you know how many people this year harassed me, Q people? And I've never even been mean to the Q. I've always said, like, yeah, a lot of what you're saying is true. I have no problem with it. But like, they were telling me that the lockdown was a good thing. A bunch of people made YouTube videos that got 1 million views. They said the lockdown's a secret sting operation to take out the Vatican. Never happened. The lockdown's a secret sting operation to take out Tom Hanks and Chrissy Teigen, and they're all going to get arrested in Guantanamo Bay. Never happened. John Podesta's going to get arrested on Easter. Never happened. Barr and Dunham are going to, really drop the hammer and show people before the election. Never happened. What have you been right about? It's like you just run. You take 80% real information. This stuff is real. There are human traffickers. There's sick stuff going on. But then you take that information and then you run off a cliff with some side theory all the time. It's like, the boat that's parked in New York has all the trafficking victims. It's like, no, it doesn't. Human trafficking is real. They are doing sick stuff. But then you take the one theory that isn't true and just harp over it for 3 months. It's like, that's real, but that doesn't mean that Bill Barr is going to save you. What if Bill Barr's you're putting faith into the government? This guy I follow on Twitter, he puts it good, Patrick Howley. It's a pro-government psychological operation. It's making you support the government. It's making you support the CIA, the NSA, and think that they're going to come save you. They're like, Anomaly, you don't understand. Q is a intelligence community guy. It's like, so now you're pro-FBI or CIA? And there are good people in the FBI and CIA. There's a bunch of patriots in there. But I'm just saying, it's like, you're anti-government, but now you're pro-government because you think that this guy, you take orders from somebody. Even if I had a best friend, or you get what I'm saying, like somebody that I trusted a lot, I don't take orders from anybody. I don't take orders from any government official. I don't care how close to Trump they are. Like Stephen Miller's close to Trump. I don't take orders from him. That's like your claim. They're like, you don't understand, Anomaly. It's someone in the government. So now your whole life is following anonymous posts from somebody in the government. Like, you're being Psy-Ops. It's like, even in your own theory, it doesn't make sense. It's like, no, Anomaly, I don't think it's somebody in the government. I just think it's a smart Trump supporter or something else, maybe more different. But it's like, you don't understand. It's a government agent. So your whole life revolves around listening to government agents. That's a red flag, no matter who it is. They told you that Bill Barr was Batman. Like, the people who follow QAnon thought Bill Barr was Superman and Batman. That was going to save the world. Listen, Bill Barr, I don't dislike Bill Barr, but you think I'm going to live my life like Bill Barr's going to come to save me? If Bill Barr saves me, I appreciate it. Thanks, Bill Barr. But if he doesn't, I won't be surprised. That's the difference between me and you, though. You put all your eggs in one basket. You're like, Bill Barr is a superhero, and that's what I'm sticking to. And now it never happened. It's like, but this is the problem with these people. Is like, even if Trump loses, I pray that he doesn't, even if Bill Barr's out of attorney general, they'll never stop. They'll be like, you don't understand. And I'm like, guys, Trump's not in the White House. Bill Barr's not in the White House. Durham's not even there anymore. And they'll be like, it's going to come on Easter. It's like, it becomes like a brainwashing tool. You're like brainwashed like a left winger. I'm not. It's like, yes, human trafficking is real. A lot of people do good documentaries and good exposés, and some people don't do good exposés. But this is why I've always said, it's important to be accurate. I have friends that were into it. They made massive videos that went viral on YouTube that said that it was a secret sting operation, the lockdown. They locked down Italy because the lockdown was a secret sting operation to arrest the Vatican. A lockdown was a World Health Organization, China, Democratic Party, and others. It was a way to lock down the economy and lock down the country. It wasn't a good thing, but they always twist bad things to be good things. And you could be optimistic and be like, it is what it is, but like, this was never a secret sting operation to arrest Chrissy Teigen. It just wasn't. You don't have to like Chrissy Teigen. I don't like Chrissy Teigen, but I'm not going to hallucinate that I'm locked in my house because Chrissy Teigen's going to go to jail any minute and you're celebrating a lockdown. No offense, but like, that's what they did. And they're not going to admit it now, but do you know how many QAnoners celebrated the lockdown because they thought pedos were going to be arrested? Pedos should be arrested, but the lockdown was never a good thing. It was not a sting operation. The white hats didn't flip it. That's not what it was. It was a bad thing orchestrated by the World Health Organization, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins, and all these people who laid the blueprint and used it as a multitude of things, and it's still harming this country to the day. So it's like, it's okay I'm not going to shame people for believing in theories, but get your theories straight. Like, the Q people have their brains so scrambled that they don't know anything. And this is the most red flag of the whole psychological operation is they say disinfo is necessary. So their whole plan is trusting Donald Trump. But then when Trump says something, they don't even believe Donald Trump. It's like the QAnon theory to a lot of people becomes what they want it to be. So whatever they want to happen, they just secretly believe is happening. If Trump says the vaccine's coming, they say that Trump is secretly saying the vaccine's coming because the vaccine's not coming. It's like Trump is a straight shooter. He definitely plays his field sometimes, but it's like you trust Trump, but you don't trust him when you don't want to hear what he has to say. It's like you become like an egotistical idiot. It's like, I believe everything Trump says unless he says what I don't want him to say, then I'm going to think he's secretly saying what I want him to say. It's like, just admit you like can't face reality. It's like you just want to like play this like video game where you think Bill Barr's going to save you and like everything you want to happen secretly happening. Like, I get it. I want pedophiles to be arrested too, but that doesn't mean that's what the lockdown was. That's never what the lockdown was. How many people from David Wilcox to others told people that's what it is? And I know he's not QAnon. I'm just saying like, people like him and other people who follow the movement have been falsely sheeping people in the wrong direction for the last year. And now that their theory failed, or at least part of it, this is my big problem. Like, if I make a huge claim and I'm wrong, I'll tell you. I'll be like, I'm wrong. I retract it. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to be more accurate. They make false theories every other week. They're wrong about perhaps the biggest theory of all, which was Barr and Durham. This was the cornerstone to QAnon. Barr and Durham, Barr and Durham. Just wait, just wait. Don't do anything. Don't rebel against the lockdown. We got it. Don't you use your own cards to save your own life. We got it. The white hats got it. Just sit there. Just stay there. Just celebrate all these bad things going on because we're going to save you. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Do you get it now? Just wait. Just wait. Trust the plan. Just wait. Do you know what the plan is? It's God's plan. It's Trump's plan. And it's your plan. Take your life into your own hands and be a part of the revolution. Don't just wait for Bill Barr to do stuff for you guys because it's never coming. But when it doesn't come, they never apologize. It's like, it's crazy. And I agree. The thing is, I overlap with what they think like 70-80%. That's why you've never heard me say it's fake. It's not fake. How, like, what's fake? What's real? It's like, is Alex Jones fake? It's like, no, I just don't agree with everything he says. Some things are real. Some things I think he gets carried away. He's not fake. He's a real person. QAnon's not fake. I never said it was fake. But like you put your whole life into something that you don't even know what it is. Like you can't even identify this person. Isn't that a little strange? Just like that never. I'm not a follower, so this didn't apply to me. But it's like you're putting your whole ideology in the hands of somebody that you have no idea who they are. But the person that you think they are is a government agent. So you're taking small government supporters, libertarians, and turning them into pro-government, pro-intelligence community, like I'm following government secret orders. Like, why would you follow what the government told you to do? If the government told me to do something, I'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna bow down to you. So you get what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot of weird stuff about that, but I don't mean to go off about it, but it's like literally at what point are you just gonna like stop? You know, like just stop being like, oh, it's not over. Q is going to last after Trump. You've now you love Trump and you've superseded Trump with an anonymous poster. You're going to put more faith in an anonymous person that you don't even know who it is over Trump. for me, people like me and people trust me, but some people like me more than Trump, but most people that will watch me like me less than Trump, and I understand that. Trump is Trump. That's why I don't overstep. I might disagree with him sometimes, but I give him all the credit because like he's in the White House and I'm not. So I understand that like my audience likes Trump. Some people don't, but most people do. But I don't try to fight that. Like I don't say like I'm going to go this way and Trump's going to go that way and follow me. Like, it's like, no, listen to me. If you like me more, that's fine. But like, it's like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, it's all about me. I'm going to last. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I disagree with them, but I try to do it respectfully. The whole thing never really made sense to me. Like parts of it did. And I tried to like find common ground, but it became a thing too that's hard to disagree with. Like if you disagree with it, there's so many people that are afraid to say it because these people wig out at you. If I say one thing that disagrees with it, they're like, who are you working for? Are you working for Mossad? Why would I? And this is another crazy thing. I'm just going to go off. People, they accuse me of, I'm talking about Israel. I'm talking about stuff that would get me called anti-Semitic in right-wing circles. You guys are trusting the plan and following Trump, who at the time was like literally working with Israel. And how would I work for Mossad? You get what I'm saying? Like Mossad is Israeli intelligence. Like if anyone's working, it's you. You're following all of their orders. I'm not saying it is, but it's like they're always like, if you disagree with them, I'm like, hey, I think the lockdowns are bad. They're like, who put you up to this? I'm like, who's paying you? It's like, who's paying me to say that I don't agree with lockdowns? Bill Cooper, Alex Jones, David Icke. They've been warning for 20 years about lockdowns. Bill Cooper wrote in Behold a Pale Horse essentially about lockdowns in 1990 or whenever he wrote the book. And now you think lockdowns are good because somebody who popped up on 4chan in 2018 told you they're good? You're going to be a pro-government agent lockdown supporter? Like, you're brainwashed. I don't know what to tell you. It's not my fault. I'm not working for an agency. I just have a brain. Like, I don't know. I don't drop all my plans because somebody posted something on a message board I don't even read. It's wild, man. It's like parts of it are good, but people need to get a little discernment. Someone say go off on them. I'm going. Someone said I can't with President Harris. No, she's not my president. Not my president. Whatever happened in Ghislaine Maxwell's case, exactly. I have no idea, but exactly. Whatever happened in Ghislaine Maxwell's case. Guys, Bill Barr, trust the plan, Bill Barr. He looked at the Epstein case where the malfunction footage fell asleep on the job. I don't know where everything went, whatever it was. He said that he didn't see any negligence, no malpractice, just a normal malfunction at the most high security prison. And someone on a message board that you don't even know who they are convinced you to put all your eggs in the Bill Barr basket. Do you not realize you've been brainwashed at this point? I'm not saying there's not some good stuff that didn't come out of the Q movement. I think there's a lot of positive stuff that came out of it. But like, you put all your eggs in the basket of somebody who didn't even do anything about the Epstein case, and you snarkily told everybody all year that if they didn't believe what you believe, that they're stupid and, they can't possibly fathom the wizardry like you're Harry Potter or something. It's like, like you don't know. I've been decoding for 5 years. It's like you're listening to a government anonymous agent decoding messages that lead you in circles. Like, and I'm a bad person because I don't. Someone said Q opened my eyes. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's pros and cons. It made tens of thousands of people support the president. People who never learned stuff learned a lot through it. It's like a Ben Shapiro in the sense, like Ben Shapiro opened up a lot of people's eyes to conservatism, but now a lot of people don't like Ben Shapiro because he's a little bit sneaky. You know what I'm saying? It's like Ben got people into conservatism, but then he told conservatives not to vote for Trump in 2016. I think it's the perfect analogy. He's like a gateway to conservatism, but then he'll be sneaky and run you off a cliff. Like QAnon's kind of the same. It's like it's not all bad. A lot of good stuff happened out of it, but it's like the delusion of certain people. I'm like, guys, it's fine. Just read the messages, learn the stuff, but don't become this person who's waiting for Bill Barr to save your life. Like that bugs me out. Someone said, where's the laptop from hell? I don't know. I have no idea. Someone said Trump unfollowed AIPAC. Exactly. Legendary move. Someone said Q is real, but it's a military operation that holds truth. You don't know who it is, though. I mean, to me, my best guess, you could think it's a military operation, but I personally think it's somebody who supports the president who's just really smart. Like, I've seen the posts. I've seen the proofs. To me, if you have an understanding like myself or David Icke or Alex Jones or anybody that researches a lot of stuff and really has a scope on what's going on, a Bill Cooper type, or there's thousands of people like that. It doesn't have to be the military. This is, They're posting things and tweets. Whoever runs the QAnon account has a super high IQ. No question about it. Whoever runs QAnon is really, really smart. If it's a military person, it's a smart military person. If it's somebody in the basement, they're not dumb. They're like genius level smart. It's extremely genius. It should be taught in the history books as like a genius psychological operation. It's genius. It like the questioning, the messaging, the dot connecting, it's genius level stuff. There's a reason so many people follow it, but also, you know, the mystique of it, as far as like, we don't know who it is, that is a part of the mystique. You know, like if you knew who it was, you might not be so interested, but the fact that you don't know who it is and you think, you know, it's like honestly, it's one of the most genius psychological operations ever. It's like anonymous posting. We don't know who it is. It's codes. It's always leading you to, you know, investigate, but then it's telling you things are going to happen. Like it amassed maybe one of the biggest movements in modern conservative history, anonymously on a message board that most people don't even read. It's genius. I mean, he deserves a prize. You know, I think he deserves a Grammy or an Emmy or something, but it doesn't mean you have to think Bill Barr is, you know, going to save your life forever. Cause it's like, it's combining Socratic method, which is questions. It's high IQ stuff where like, if you're in a debate or in a conversation, asking a question is like 4D chess. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ask you a question, you ask them a question. You answer with a question. I believe it's called Socratic method. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's like when it's open-ended, it's things that can like lead everybody all over the place. So it's like, you know, he'll say real information, trust bar. Now it's like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, he's showing you something real. You research it. You're like, wow, I didn't know that. That's real. He shows you something real. Whoa, I didn't know that. That's real. He shows you another thing real. And then he adds a question involved. And then he says, trust bar, you know, trust the plan, big drop coming soon. So then next week, something big happens and everybody credits QAnon. They say, oh my God, a big drop happened. My friends used to say, I was like, big things happen every day. This is Trump world, baby. Get used to it. Big things every day. Big drops every day. So it's like you're giving the credit to an anonymous poster because he posted things to show you what was happening and then did a question. But here, in my opinion, is where it gets deceptive. Then he says, you know, Barr drops. So you believe that Barr is going to save you because he told you so much real stuff. And then he followed it with the Barr and the Sessions thing. I don't think Sessions was who you thought he was. I don't think Barr was, but what a genius method, you know, like and then you don't know who it is. So it's like, you can't really fact check them or you don't even know who the person is, you know? So it's genius stuff. I've never been someone who's been like, oh, FQ, it's the worst, or, you know, it's fake. I've never said that. You can watch my videos from 3 years ago. I debated Praying Medic. If you want to see something here, I'll show you guys this. This is highly interesting. I debated Praying Medic about it 2 years ago because I've always felt this way. I've had overlaps, but I've also had like, you know, my suspicions of like, you know, is this something that's going to lead you to the right place or is it going to dupe you? So I'm going to show you guys real quick. Hold on. If you guys know Praying Medic, he's one of the biggest like QAnon decoders. Look at this. This is from 2018. This is how, like, people are like, you don't understand QAnon. I'm like, I've been following it since 2018, but here, ready? They probably deleted it off YouTube. Let me see if I could find it. Yeah, they shadow banned it, but I'm going to try to find it. Hold on. I'm going to find it, folks. I'm going to find it. Let me see. Legendary energy praying. Hold on. It's some very interesting stuff. Let me see. Someone said Fox News has finally done so. Yeah, Fox News sucks. Oh, here it is. All right, ready? So, okay, I'm just gonna give you guys a little breakdown because we've been on the Q debate. So this is me in 2018. I'm talking to Praying Medic, who's one of the biggest decoders of QAnon. He's like got this huge audience and everybody follows him and decodes the post. I asked him, this is in 2018, folks. I said, isn't this kind of making people ready for martial law? Because he's telling me what he likes. And I said, isn't this kind of trying to convince libertarians to agree with martial law? I called it in 2018, folks, and that's kind of what happened this year. A lockdown hit, and everybody was like pro lockdown for a few months because they thought it was a secret plan. Look at this, folks. You want to talk about insight? This is some next level stuff, right?
Who are watching the board, and Q is having them focus on something over there while something over there is actually going on. That's the necessary part of disinformation. It's purposeful to distract people so they don't know what to focus on and who to trust. It's not just so I can, put a bunch of crap out there and then I can claim that it's true regardless of how it turns out. There's actually a purpose for it.
Well, I think that's very interesting and valid as far as regardless of what's truly happening behind the scenes or not, or what I do think that now that you say that QAnon, regardless of if that is its true purpose or not, I do think it is a huge distraction for those people, because when you have information that is clearly relevant and real and there's links to real stuff, and then he's talking about stuff, I do think that regardless of who it is, that he probably has them on their toes and, running in circles, freaking out. So I don't think I disagree with that at all. I guess my question is, or not even question is, people think that what you're describing that he's doing to them, a lot of people think that he's doing to you, is having you guys run in circles. And I even heard an interesting theory from someone I met in person. He's like libertarian, all in his own zone. But he was like, I think Q's a Psy-Op or whatever to get conservatives and Trump supporters okay with martial law. And that was a whole theory. I never
2018,
heard.
folks.
You guys do seem kind of like, there might be the National Guard. That's okay. So I don't rule out that Q is the real deal and he's scrambling people. But I also, what do you think if he was doing it to us in order to get us to be okay with martial law?
Q is a psyop.
Well, I guess that's something that all sides can agree on that. All sides can agree.
Understand what the real meaning of the word psyop is, then you can see why.
All right, so did you follow that, folks? That's anomaly. You want to talk about foresight? That's anomaly in 2018. I said to Praying Medic, one of the biggest Q people, I said, my libertarian friend thinks Q's a psyop to make Trump supporters okay with martial law. This is before COVID, way before, over a year before COVID. Do you think it's possible? And he said Q is a psyop. I'm just saying, I had that foresight. But also, here's what I was saying to him. At the beginning, he was saying, he was like, Q is purposely, disinfo is necessary. This is a big Q thing. Disinfo is necessary because we're distracting Podesta. We're like, this is the part I never understood, even in 2018 when I was following it. We're purposely lying sometimes to throw off the deep state. So this is what they're telling you. They're telling you that Podesta's not smart enough to figure this out. Hillary Clinton doesn't know what's real or fake because Q's fooling them, but Praying Medic knows, and and all the Q followers know. So, none of the Democrats are smart enough to figure out what's real or fake. You don't even really know what's real or fake, but you are. It never made sense to me. Nothing he's saying ever made sense to me, even then, where it's like he admitted that Q's wrong all the time because they need to be wrong in order to throw off the deep state. But how do you know what's right or wrong? And the truth is, people don't know what's right or wrong. And that's why it scrambled people's brains. Even in 2020, people are like, I don't agree with Trump. I don't know what to believe. It's this or that. It's like, imagine if I was live and I told you guys, 50% of what I say is real, 50% of what I'm saying is fake. You wouldn't know what to believe. But what do I tell you? I say everything I'm saying is real, but at the same time, fact check it because I'm not acting like I'm perfect. I try to be good and I try to retract myself, but I don't come here to bullshit you. I don't come here to give you 50-50 or 70. I come to give you 100-0, and if I make a mistake, I let you know. So you get what I'm saying? It's like he's admitting that there's disinfo in there, which means Q's wrong, but Q's wrong to show the deep state that they're wrong. But how do all these people who are following Q, how do you know what's right or wrong? They don't know what's right or wrong. And they assume that they're smarter than Podesta and Hillary. Like, they're these secret wizard geniuses that can decode Q, but like Ellen DeGeneres can't figure it out, and her PR team are like blown away by your IQ level. It's like, it's always been like an egotistical, like weirdo movement. And this, once again, folks, I called them being okay with lockdowns in 2018. I called this. And they were the people who freaked out at me the most during. It's not all people, but it was the Q people. They're like, don't do it. No, this is a white hat operation. This is 2018, folks. I said they're going to. It seems like a pro lockdown movement.
Links to real stuff.
Look at
and
this.
then he's talking about stuff. I do think that the question is, people think that what you're describing, that he's like libertarian, all in his own zone. But he was like, I think Q's a Psy-Op or whatever to get conservatives and Trump supporters okay with martial law. And that was a whole theory I never heard. And I was like, oh, because you guys do seem kind of like, there might be the National Guard. That's okay. So I don't rule out that Q is the real deal and he's scrambling people. But I also, what do you think if he was doing it to us in order to get us to be okay with martial law?
Q is a psyop.
Well, I guess that's something that all sides can agree on that. All sides can agree.
Understand what the real meaning.
I said, what if this is, because the reason I said that too is because we had a debate for 2 hours and he's talking about like, listen, we're going to bring in martial law. We're going to bring in the military guard. So I'm like, are you pro lockdown? Because I have these books, Behold a Pale Horse by Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper's been around for years. He's been dead, but it's like he said this was coming, but this was bad. And now you have people like Praying Medic and QAnon basically telling people this is coming, lockdowns are coming, martial law is coming, but that's a good thing. We got it under control. What bigger psyop could it be to tell you that the government locking down society is okay because the good guys are in control? I called that in 2018, folks. So people who say to me like, Anomaly, you've never read the post. Chances are I've read them for years before you did. I read them in 2018 and 2000. I've been following, but I'm not easy to fool. Some of you people are easy to fool. So you give you one thing and then you can run them off a cliff. I could probably do it, but that's not what I do here. I want people to think for themselves, prosper. This is not a mind control operation. It's just like, have a good day, enjoy yourself. But it's like there's people out there that are not going to be so sane, So, I'm just saying. Someone said, so are you down to fight for your freedom or move to South Dakota? Well, that's the thing. We'll see what happens, but I'll probably fight for my freedom. But the thing is, this whole year has been a psychological operation. Like, I almost wish it was just a fight, because what they've done is brainwash people into being like slowly submissive. So now I live in a community where like sometimes I don't wear a mask and people are fine, but other times I'm like getting yelled at by Karens. It's almost worse. It's like, put that down, put that. It's like they slowly like wore people down to the point where like, it's not, you get what I'm saying? I'm not running away. I just want to be free. The only free place I've been this year is South Dakota. That's why I want to go there. Where I'm at now, it's like, it's good. It's better than like a liberal city, but there's still the mask Karens. I'm not running away from America, but like right now I'm not free. I don't feel free with the mask bullshits. You get what I'm saying? It's like, are we fighting for this, or nobody seemed to fight this year? I don't know. It's like everybody just kind of submits to this, and it is what it is. Someone said, not submissive when Q informs you why you need to defend your rights. People are not following what I'm saying. There's like, do you need someone to tell you to defend your rights? Like, are you like, it becomes this religion where you're like, well, no, he's the real deal because he told me to defend your rights. You don't know you need to listen to an anonymous poster to know that you should defend your rights. What if he told you not to? You're crediting him with something that's basic common sense. And the point I was getting to at the video I just showed, he's like, disinfo is necessary because he's fooling the deep state. Anybody that's giving you disinfo is not just giving the deep state disinfo, they're also giving you disinfo. So they're mixing in real information, defend your rights, trust the plan with other stuff. It scrambles your brain. You don't know what to believe or not because it's disinfoing you. So it's like you become like, where am I going? Yeah, defend your rights. You don't need me to tell you that or Q to tell you that. If you don't know to defend your rights, you're a follower. Like you need to be babied or something. Like, man, thank God he told me to defend my rights. Like, what? Wow, let's give him a Nobel Peace Prize. That's a brilliant. It's nuts, man. He's got people like a religion where they just can't let go. It's insane. But someone said, Anomaly sitting on all the right pipes. You guys are ignoring him. the point, and I made this point to him in 2018. This is 2 years ago. This is nothing new. This is before the lockdowns, before all this stuff. I've never been mean. I've never been hateful about it. But the main point that I'm getting to is, and what Praying Medics and all of them say, when Q's wrong, which is often, he says it's purposeful. He's not wrong. He's giving out disinfo to fool the deep state. If he can fool the deep state with disinfo, he can fool you with disinfo. That's great. He tells you to defend your rights, but you shouldn't be taking orders from a message board poster, and you should know that anyway. But it's like, if he can fool the deep state, if he can fool you, if you're smart enough to figure it out, Ellen DeGeneres is smart enough to figure it out. If he's telling you secretly to give you a heads up on what they can't see, they can see it. Podesta can see it. They all see it. So it's like this game of like, only we can see it. You're not that smart, okay? You're not that much smarter than like Democratic operatives. Like your IQ's not like 5,000, and like Ellen DeGeneres' PR team's like, duh, how do I figure out QAnon? I wish I was as smart as that. Like, if you can see it, they can see it. If they can fool them, they can fool you. If you don't know what to believe, or if they don't know what to believe, you don't know what to believe. It's the same thing. So it's like, that's great that he's mixing it in with like basic patriot messages of like, yeah, protect your country. But if it's also being mixed in with like, wait for Bill Barr, it becomes a psychological operation that there's pros and there's cons. There's a lot of people who came to the bright side and liberals who turned into Republicans and really learned what was going on. And that's fantastic. I think that's a psychological operation for the better. But then there's people who became pro-lockdown. There's people who became like complete cultists, and there's people who like literally don't know what to believe anymore. Like when Trump says something, you should believe him. He's very straightforward. Some people don't even believe Trump anymore because they think that what they want to believe is more important. It's nuts. It's nutty stuff. But you know, I think I explained it kind of well as for why it's a pro and a con, but it becomes a problem if you can't like detach for like 5 seconds. Someone said, but Ellen didn't even know she was on house arrest. Guys, we got arrested. I said this in March, and this is why I'm a little, I don't get emotional, but this is why I'm a little, bitter in a sense. The people who are the meanest to me during the lockdowns, believe it or not, we're not liberals. I think I have liberal repellent where they just don't bother me anymore because I feel like they're afraid of me because I'm too honest. It was Q people, not all. A lot of people are fantastic, but it was Q people who freaked out at me in March and April because I'm reporting the truth about the lockdown. They're getting mad because they think the lockdown is a secret good thing, and they're telling me Ellen's on house arrest. You're on house arrest. Hillary never got arrested. You got arrested. Bill Barr never arrested Podesta. You got arrested. If Ellen's on lockdown, you're on lockdown. Tom Hanks is on lockdown, so are you. You got arrested. You got locked down. You got quarantined. You got put on a mask mandate. So it's like, at what point do you realize, like, this isn't a secret plan to arrest all your enemies? It was a secret plan by not Trump, not the White House. This was a secret dupe by Fauci, the World Health Organization, Bill and Melinda Gates. They fooled Trump for a few months. They screwed up America, and now we're trying to take it back. This was never a white hat operation to arrest Ellen DeGeneres. I get it. She's on house arrest, so are you. Can you go places? Well, then you're on house arrest too. And then people are like, well, that's what needs to happen in order to arrest Ellen. Guys, they don't need to arrest Europe and America in order to arrest Ellen DeGeneres. They can arrest Ellen and just arrest Ellen. They're not arresting Ellen. They arrested you. They're shutting down Europe and America. This is a communist scheme, a World Health Organization scheme mixed with Big Pharma, mixed with Democrats, mixed with other people, Communist China and others, to destroy America and Europe, destroy the economy, and destabilize our country. And that's what they did. It's not the end of the world, but it's like the pea-brained logic people have, and they think they're wizards. This is the annoying part. They're like, I'm so much smarter than you. And I'm like, guys, I've debated this stuff with the top Q decoders in 2018, 2019, and it was a friendly debate, and we weren't mean to each other. But in general, it's like, you're not this super wizard genius. Like, you're kind of an idiot because you think that Trump needs to put you on house arrest in order to put Ellen on house arrest. And you have these idiots like David Wilcox is telling millions of people they need to shut everything down, and then they're going to infiltrate the celebrity houses. He told hundreds of thousands of people that they were going to arrest celebrities secretly. It's not a secret if David Wilcox puts it on YouTube. It's not a secret if QAnon tells millions of people and you guys regurgitate it on Twitter and Instagram. There's no secret. If anybody in the military is going to do something secret, they wouldn't tell you about it. Guys, they don't tell the truth about the moon. They don't tell the truth about Las Vegas. They don't tell the truth about 9/11. They haven't told the truth about everything. You think they secretly told you the truth about something they haven't done yet because they're doing it secretly? If you know it, Ellen knows it. If you don't know what to believe, Ellen doesn't know what to believe. There is no secret, guys. If it's on a message board, it's not secret. It's not sneaky. You're the least sneaky people ever. It's like you nonstop talk about this stuff and act. It's like you're not whispering it on Telegram. You're blasting it on Twitter, and you're tagging Tom Hanks in it. I laughed hysterically when you guys were crushing Tom Hanks, because I don't like Tom Hanks and I don't trust him either. But I'm just saying, it's like, you're like, they don't know what's coming. It's like, of course they know what's coming. Guys, you guys ratioed Tom Hanks. It was fantastic. Every one of his things, like, you're going to prison, bro. Just get ready for Guantanamo. You think he doesn't know it's coming when you all ratioed him? Dude, Tom Hanks and Chrissy Teigen were shitting their pants. Half the reason you guys got banned off Twitter is because you scared the shit out of Chrissy Teigen. You scared Chrissy Teigen because every time she posted, she got ratioed. You scared the shit out of her, and she probably hit up Jack Dorsey and was like, please ban all these Q people, they're scaring me, because you guys were crushing them. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was fantastic. But it's not sneaky. It's not secretive. Like, everyone knows. That's all I'm saying. I agree with like half of what you guys do, but I'm like, it's not like they're like, Anomaly, you don't understand. They told us, because we need to know. If you need to know, there is no secret operation. It's the most not secret operation ever. And the reason it's so not secret is because it's not real. It's not a real operation. There is no QAnon White Hat operation. There's somebody really smart who posts things on a message board
Psy-Ops.
and tells you to get ready for lockdowns, and that any day now Trump's going to save you, because it's fun probably for him to do, and it's fun for you to pretend like you know more than everyone else, and it's fun to learn and research, and it's a win-win. But for me, I just find it quite amusing. It's like, Anomaly, you don't understand. We're fooling Podesta with the disinfo. It's like, how smart do you think you are? If you can understand what it's posted, and I can understand what it's posted, and like these people who are telling me this stuff are not like wizard geniuses. They're like, moderately smart people that are like, you couldn't fathom what I understand. It's like, if you can understand, do you know how many Democratic operatives and people and PR teams, when you piss off Chrissy Teigen, I guarantee you Tom Hanks and Chrissy Teigen, their whole PR team was probably freaked out, which is awesome. They're freaking out over this stuff. Guys, they knew who you were for a year, and they were all reading the same stuff. If you're smart enough to read it, they're smart enough to read it. There is no like, only I can understand, but they can understand. If you can understand, they can understand. It's not like, how smart do you think you are? Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like, I post this stuff like, you would never be able to understand. Like, it's not that complicated. It's so ridiculous. It is funny. It's like, and I'm not one of these people who says like it's fake. It's not fake. A lot of it's real. I understand why you like it, but it's like, if you can't figure out what I just said in the last 10 minutes, there's a problem going on. It's not over when Trump's over. It's like, it's never going to be over, because you guys are worshiping an anonymous poster who tells you 80% truth and then runs you in circles and tells you to worship like government operatives. It's like, yeah, there's part real, there's part fake, there's part like embarrassing logic. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you can figure it out, they can figure it out. There is no like, we're secretly fooling them and we're going to sneak up on them. David Wilcox went on YouTube and convinced 100,000 people, 500,000 people, that this was a secret operation, that they were going to arrest them because of the lockdown. There is no secret if David Wilcox is broadcasting, folks. It's not how it works. If I'm sneaking up on someone, I'm not broadcasting it to my YouTube channel. It's incredible. And then they get mad at me. They're like, who do you work for? Who do I work for? Myself? Literally, you can think what you want, but I'm the most independent person out there. Like, this is why I'm able to say this stuff. Like, you can't say all this stuff if you work for certain people. I've got away with it, and I potentially can work for, there's someone trying to work with me, but you get what I'm saying. Someone I think Q is QAnon. Exactly. Q is QAnon. American Mag said I was a Q-tard. If it inspires you to do great things, that's great. I never knocked people. To be honest, I don't mind the actual posts as much as some of the people who read them. The posts never bother me. I'm not going to fight with a board who's telling people things, whatever. It's not my place. Use your own brain. But like, some of these people were bugging out about me during the lockdown. They're like, dude, you don't understand. I'm like, it was never the poster who bothered me. It was the Q-tards. It was like the people who like just got brainwashed and like freaked out at everybody. But I don't, it's a tough thing to say, because they freak out so much. If you don't agree with them, they bug out at you. It's like, it's very bizarre. But yeah, it's like, it is what you make of it. But don't worship something that you don't even know what it is. Like, I don't know, whatever. Someone said, I think we were told what they want the public to know. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. There is no secret military operation. That's not what it was. It was somebody who's smart, who does research. You were getting no secrets. All the stuff that they showed you was out there stuff. You could read Behold a Pale Horse. I have it on my bookshelf. I'm not going to grab it. Behold a Pale Horse predicted what's happening right now in 1990. He's not a wizard. He's a smart guy who did a lot of research and reads their stuff. When Alex Jones is right about Bill Gates 15 years in the past, it's not because Alex Jones is a secret super wizard who works for the government. He's a smart guy with a high IQ who reads their blueprints. They've been writing about this stuff for 20 years. So when Q makes predictions, you're not getting super secret intel. It's someone smart. They're not releasing things that they just want you to know. It's not coming from the government. And if it was coming from the government, you shouldn't trust it. You get what I'm saying? Like, people just can't break the illusion. They want to believe so bad that they're like, I get it. It's like the same psychology of like Bernie Sanders when he said, it's not me, it's we. So then everyone's like, it's we, it's not him. And you feel like you're part of it. So it's like people don't want to drop it. Like, no, I'm part of the secret military operation. Like, no, you're a patriot. You support Trump. You support the country. You love America. And that's more than enough. But there is no like secret intel you're getting. It was never that. But you'll figure it out eventually. Someone said Trump administration supports Q with the popcorn. Of course, because it's his supporters. Trump's answer to Q was genius. Did you see his answer? It was fantastic. They asked him about QAnon. They asked him to condemn it. He wouldn't condemn it. Why would Trump condemn his own supporters? I would never. Have you heard me condemn QAnon? What does that even mean? I condemn QAnon. I don't condemn QAnon. I have intelligent discussions and debates about what he's talking about. I don't condemn it. Like, I win, I'm better than you. Like, no, that's not how it works. I don't condemn it. So he answered perfectly. He said, I don't condemn it. He's like, I don't know what it is, but if people are fighting human trafficking, that's fine with me. Perfect answer. 10 out of 10. Trump's the best. So yeah, they tried to bait him to condemn his own audience. Why would he condemn a bunch of people who are trying to, combat human trafficking, albeit they just get confused and lost sometimes? There's nothing wrong with Trump's answer. It's a smart answer, and he never should ever condemn his own voters. If he would have said, yeah, I condemn QAnon, there goes 5 million votes out the window. Why would he do that? But that doesn't mean it's all like elements of it are true. It's like, it is great. It's a good thing that millions of people are now, focused on human trafficking. The thing is, you need to get proof. Now you can't wait for Bill Barr all the time. You need to, find proof and bring that to the right person. That's gonna drop the hammer. It's not gonna be Bill Barr. It's gonna be Tom Fitton, Project Veritas, maybe Rudy Giuliani. You get what I'm saying? Someone said he condemned the Proud Boys. I mean, kind of a whack move, but I don't know. They set him up for these lose-loses. Like, do you condemn militias? Do you condemn white supremacy? Do you condemn QAnon? Do you condemn Proud Boys? They try to set him up for these lose-loses where if he doesn't condemn them, they're like, Trump is a white supremacist. But then if he does, then he's like, I condemn the Proud Boys or I condemn QAnon. Then everybody gets mad. The media just sets him up for failure. He does his best. He does what he can. Someone said David Icke. I like David Icke. I like him. I don't put all my eggs in one basket, but to me, I think David Icke is a pretty straight shooter. I don't know about the lizard stuff, but like, he barely ever talks about that. He just talks about like other stuff. I don't fully agree with his COVID thing, but I don't know. I like David Icke a lot. All of it, Q and everything is part of their bigger plan. At the end of the day, it's God's plan, okay? At the end of the day, it's God's plan. And then, Trump has a plan. A lot of people have plans, but here's my pitch to the people. Our plan as the people, all we have is mobilization. All we have is our voice. All we have is holding people accountable. And, that's all it is. Just use discernment and question every step of the way. When you're running in certain directions, just pay attention to where you're running and make sure it makes sense. Just that's all I ask. Don't just blindly believe things because they tell you certain things. Like, it's like, that's all. Sometimes people are right, sometimes people are wrong. Just think and don't become so involved in something where you're like not paying attention, You got it. Someone said, I dig that response. Well, I appreciate it. It's not up to Biden yet. I'm sorry. He's not in there. What about young Pharaoh? He confuses me. I like Young Pharaoh. I've seen a lot of stuff that I really like from him. I've seen other things that I don't agree with, where it's like, just have discernment. I think that's all it is. Like, I saw a few things months ago from him, and I thought they were fantastic. He did a great video on Malcolm X, and then other things that his theories and stuff. I'm not in agreement with, but I think that's the name of the game. Like, at the end of the day, not everybody's a leader, but you have to have discernment. That's why I use that word a lot. If you look it up in the dictionary, discernment is the ability to judge, okay? So at the end of the day, you want to, whether you watch me or Jordan Peterson or Trump or QAnon or Young Pharaoh, to me, you never want to just fully believe everything they're saying. Like, especially, I'm not trying to boast myself, but like, I try to be very careful with what I say, in the sense of I don't like to be a liar, and I don't like to claim things I don't know. There's other people that are not so, they're not so careful. They just kind of go, which is fine. It's like the Kanye West approach. You're just going, and like you throw it against the wall, and most things stick because it's mostly real. But just have discernment, whether it's me or whoever. You just have to be able to watch something and, put it to the test. Be like, I agree with that. And if something doesn't seem right to you, don't just be like, well, I like that person, so it's totally right. I like Anomaly, so it must be right. It's like, I try to, that's why with my videos, I try to like show you the article that I'm getting it from, because I'm like, I wing it when I'm live, but like, I'm like, this is where I'm getting it. I'm not making this stuff up, like, and who knows what it is. So yeah, just question everything, but, have discernment. That's all it is. Like, even with Trump, I like Trump, but there's a few times where I disagree with Trump. I don't hate him, but I'm like, that's not for me. And like certain things, it is what it is. So that's all you really can have. You have to have discernment. And here's what I'll say real quick. When it comes to the truther movement, whether it's QAnon or Alex Jones or David Icke or Trump or, holistic medicine or whatever, truther, people who are seeking the truth and are counterculture, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, I feel like the big mistake that a lot of people make, I'm not going to say it's not even like a Q thing, it's like everybody, is the truther movement knows everything's a lie. The truther movement knows the media's lying. The truther movement knows, the food industry's lying. Like, we know it's a lie, so then people believe, anything that goes against the lie. Sometimes people fall victim to like, well, that's a lie, so anybody that tells me otherwise, I'm going to believe that because I know that's a lie. So if they're countering that and they tell me that, that's got to be real. So that's where someone said reason, exactly. That's where a lot of people lose me because they're like, okay, the media's a lie, and then they just will like latch on to any theory because it's counterculture. But there's so many wrong conspiracy theories that it's not like the word conspiracy theory is even a good word, but you get what I'm saying, bad theories that like now people become scrambled. So it's like, yeah, you reject the media, but you'll latch on to any theory that goes against it. So you become easy to manipulate, whether it's Q or me or Young Pharaoh, whoever, you become an easy target to like get your brain scrambled because you're always just ready to latch on to everything. So it's like, you have to have discernment. I think, in general, that's underrated because, yeah, you get it. Someone said manipulation is a form of witchcraft. I wouldn't doubt that. Someone said you don't have to label everyone who follows Q as a crazy conspiracy theorist or every Q has the same view. Well, here's the thing. If you watch this live stream when I upload it and you play it back, I never did that. I probably 20 times I said that it's not all bad. I said there's pros and cons. Probably 20 times I said, or 10 times I said, or 5 times, however many times I said that there's people who are great or mostly great and there are only some people. I've said that, but people are so sensitive. That's the problem. I never said everybody who follows Q is exactly the same. I never said it's all bad. I never said everybody's bad. I never once said that it's a crazy conspiracy theory and everyone's wrong. I literally pointed out all the things I thought they were right about. I pointed out all the good things about it, how people went from liberal to conservative, how they're interested in human trafficking, how they're connecting dots and going deeper. I already mentioned that. So you're accusing me of saying something I never did because you don't want to hear what I'm saying. And you're, no offense, but you're probably one of those people that will latch onto any theory that sounds good. That's why you're mad. It hits home. But I never said that. You're accusing me of saying that because it's like, this is why I never talk about this stuff, because people are so sensitive in the Q movement. If you even disagree with anything that they're doing, they freak out at you and call you an agent. Like the amount of times I've got harassed this year, liberals don't even bother me anymore because I feel like they're just afraid of me or something. They're like, okay, I don't know what to say to Anomaly. I'm sure they comment and talk shit to me, but I don't read it. The Q people, not everyone, not all, most people are great. I said this 30 times already, but most Q people have been fantastic to me. But the most annoying people to me this year have been Q people. The most ignorant and harassing people who harassed me for being right, which they retracted months later, were Q people. Is every Q person like that? Not at all. Some of the nicest people have been, Q supporters, but I'm just being honest. As a creator, some of the most annoying and most rude and most attacking people to me have been Q people on things they've been wrong about, because it becomes like a cult to a lot of people where they're just like running in circles because their brain is scrambled. So I'm not saying everybody feels that way. Most people don't. And a lot of people have done great things off it. And there's a lot of smart people who really like it and use it as a research tool. I never said otherwise. Someone said Dylan was super sorry. Yeah, and I've forgiven Dylan. Dylan did that, and I've forgiven him since the day he did it. But Dylan's not the only one. And I forgave him the day he did it. I just wanted him to leave me alone. Dozens of people acted like him. I had personal friends act like that. You wouldn't know how many people acted like that. So it's not like a singular thing. You get what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, he just acted like that and everyone else was fantastic. Most people were great, but the amount of people that wigged out at me made me think like, all right, some people are brainwashed by this. Some aren't. Some people are inspired to do great things. Like the documentary Out the Shadows was fantastic. That was inspired by Q and it was really well done. But some people like lost their mind over this stuff. And I think combined with the lockdown and combined with, not wanting to admit that it wasn't a Trump White Hat operation and it was the World Health Organization, Bill Gates, I think, that's a big flaw of a lot of the people who follow that. Not all, but instead of understanding the real threat, like if you have the enemy at your door and you think it's secretly your friend because Q told you, then it becomes a problem. So it's like, you shouldn't be pessimistic. Don't take the black pill. But when you're being attacked by the World Health Organization, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Fauci, all these people, and instead of like fighting for it, you're thinking it's a good thing because, you decoded something from Q or something, like that becomes weird to me. And those are the people who bugged out at me. It's not, but once again, for the people who are sensitive, not all. I would say like 80% of people are probably fine. And I never hear anything bad about them, but it's like, you get what I'm saying? It's, someone said Adderall? No, I don't take Adderall. Someone said this is mind-blowing to me. You learn something new every day, or at least it makes you think. That's all. Someone said Biden voters for Trump. I'm going to read this real quick. He said, I was in a phase once where I was looking forward to Q, the good guys, to save my day. Then I realized that I was looking into things yourself was a thing, wasted a lot of my hope. Aha. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, but I don't know. What's up, Glowpunk? Did you know about Project Hammer and Scorecard? Yeah, I listened to Sidney Powell. I listened to what she said. Here's the thing at this point. Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, they have to put up or shut up. And I'm not being mean, but it's like, I believe, no question. I understand what they did. I understand how they cheated, but we need proof now. We don't need trust the plans. No offense. We don't need theories. I need Sidney Powell, Tom Fitton, Project Veritas, Eric Trump, Giuliani. I need them to have all this evidence and just take it to the courts. That's what we need right now, because I have no doubt that they did this, but we need to prove it now. We can't, there is no more like, well, it's coming soon. Like, this is it, folks. This is the last 2-3 weeks. It's not over. The world's not over, but like, this is like the whole Trump, Q, whatever you want to call it. This is it. This is the whole finale. This is the grand shebang. We got it. We have to prove it. And it's the same thing with human trafficking. Like, you have to prove, at the end of the day, like even like the Wayfair theory, for instance, everybody's talking about Wayfair. I never talked about it that much because I saw the coincidences. I mentioned it because people talked about it. I saw things that didn't add up. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of sketchy stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm very reasonable where I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, you have to have video of one of these people doing something, or you have to have a whistleblower of somebody who can expose who they are, what they were doing. Were they selling 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds? Like, what were they doing? You have to expose them. If not, the best theory in the world, if you don't have proof, it's not going anywhere. And I said that with the Wayfair thing. People got mad at me. Who's talking about the Wayfair thing anymore? Nobody, because it went away because nobody had proof. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't look into it, but like I look at things and I'm like, you know what? Certain things seem like a dead end to me. And even with this, like, I trust me, with this election, I think there's a million things happening, but we need the top legal people, and they are, Project Veritas and such, bringing this stuff to the courts. That's what's going to change it. Not waiting for the, what is it, like Bitcoin, crypto, what's it called? Like sting operation with the watermarks. That's not going to happen. That's a pipe dream. I mean, there are watermarks, but you get what I'm saying. That's not how they're going to take down the fraud in Georgia. You'll see. I'm not going to argue about it because I don't really care, but you get what I'm saying? It's like we need proof. We need people exposing the fraud, people like the whistleblowers that are showing this stuff and can prove it in court. That's what's going to take it down. Thoughts on the predicted apocalypse in The Simpsons? Well, I think The Simpsons really show you, and same with like South Park, smart people that see what's going on with society and make jokes, they see this stuff coming 20, 30 years in the past. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you could make a whole religion, like a QAnon religion off of South Park or Simpsons, and be like, Simpsons predicted all this, Simpsons did it. But like, if you're a common sense, smart person who has a good sense of humor, and you can, see the path people are going, like, to me, the mask mandate reminds me of the South Park episode where they're sucking on one side and the other side's going up their behind, and it's like the fast machine. To me, that reminds me of the mask mandate. It's like you can convince people to do stupid stuff if you tell them it's really good for them. Like, these type of people have foresight. I think, South Park, Simpsons, they all kind of, predict society because they're just funny and have a strong mind. But maybe they're time travelers. I don't know. I'm not going to shame people. Someone said when I was in middle school, there was a carrot cult. They worshipped carrots. I mean, understandable. Carrots are delicious. When can we expect this great reset? Well, here's the thing. This Trump is in the way. The great reset does not happen in America unless Trump gets out of the way. And the COVID lockdowns were a way to supersede what Trump wanted to do. They didn't even really wait till Trump was out. My guess is because, I think they knew Trump was going to win the election. So they had to, do it before. And I think, if Trump wins, their great reset is in serious trouble. But this is the thing. Even if Trump wins, this is what I said before the election, it's not over. Even if Trump pulls off the win or if he won easily, you still have Uber, Lyft, Facebook. Trump, I'm not saying he's not going to leave because I want him to win fair and square, but this is a standoff in some senses. This is even if he won, you're going to have a standoff of all major applications. They don't agree with Trump. They're trying to censor him, destroy him, and most likely bring him to court and throw him in jail if he loses. So they've gone to war with the Trump family. This is a standoff, folks. So whether win or lose, things don't. One thing that I can almost guarantee isn't going to happen is Biden is going to win and it's just going to be totally normal. That's not happening. You can almost rule that out. What the normies think is going to happen, Biden won and it's going to be great. It's there's a 0% chance of that happening. What's going to happen from here? I can't tell you, but it's win or lose, it's all shifting. The Great Reset's not going to instantly happen, and I don't see Trump giving up that easily. So we'll see. Someone says so cracked out. I'm not cracked out. It's just late. Someone said the economy was attacked internally. For sure. Someone said Biden. Someone says sting operation. There is no sting operation, folks. You'll figure it out in 2 weeks. And here's all I'm saying. When you find out there is no sting operation, the fight is not the sting operation. There's a recount in Georgia. They're going to look at the machines. There's fraud in Pennsylvania, and they didn't follow Supreme Court orders. So there's a ruling in Pennsylvania whether the votes are illegitimate or not. In Arizona, he's suing for the Sharpie thing, but also there's going to be a recount and Trump might win it. These are the legitimate fights. There is no secret sting operation that they secretly outsmarted them with Bitcoin technology. It's the watermarks. It's not true. There are watermarks, but this is not what they're doing. And you'll figure it out. My only problem is I don't care that people are wrong, but it's the people who are wrong about that How many times have they been wrong? It's the same people behind the secret sting operation, are the same ones who told everybody to trust Barr and Durham, are the same people who told everyone to trust Sessions. It's like, how many, it's fine to be wrong all the time, but it's like, these are the most sure people, and they never apologize, they never retract. If I was this wrong, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. But like, they never do that. They just move on to the next fake theory, and everybody runs down the path. And this theory got so big, my dad told me about it, my friend's mom told me, like, everyone's talking about the secret sting operation. It's not going to happen. They find a way to, there's a million real things going on. Dominion voting, real. Absentee ballot and mail-in fraud, real. Kicking out poll watchers, real. Sharpies possibly being disqualified, real. Dead voters, real. Not following Supreme Court orders, real. These are all real things of fraud. And then the number one story becomes the only thing that's not real. The secret sting operation, because it's so good to be true. You get what I'm saying? We have to, this is why the Q thing annoys me. It's not because of all the good stuff. It's because there's 20 real things going on. People always want to go for the easy thing. It's like they don't want to realize Giuliani and Trump and Sidney Powell and all these people, they're fighting in court to overturn illegal ballots, to get the dead people off the rolls, to get recounts. This is the fight. It's not pretty, though. It doesn't sound good because it's like, you might win, you might lose, but that's the fight. It's not like it's an easy target to be like, oh, we got him already. The white hats got him with the secret Bitcoin operation with the watermarks. That's not what they're doing. And you'll figure that out in 2 weeks. But it's like, it becomes a bad thing when instead of like realizing that there's work to be done and everybody contributing, it becomes this thing of like sitting back and being like, haha, we got them good, don't we? Like, it almost makes me think it's like some sort of Psy-Op, where it's like you're Psy-Opping Trump supporters into like running the wrong way and then thinking it's done when really it's not done. There's so much work to be done. And, to be quite honest, if you really want to help, and I mean, we can only do so much, we're not that powerful, but like if you really want to help, Eric Trump and Project Veritas are collecting, and actually Jack Posobiec from One American News Network, but they're all collecting fraud. If you know a fraud, that's how you can stop them. It's like human trafficking. If you can't put a finger on human traffickers and bust them, you're not going to do that much. If you have real intel, then you can do something. You get what I'm saying? So if you can give like real information to Project Veritas or Eric Trump at their phone number, you can be part of the election safe. But if you just sit back and think that there's a secret sting operation, you're not doing that much. But it's all good. Someone said track your ballot. I mean, you can track your ballot. Project Veritas is great, for sure. They do a good job. Someone said, I can put a finger on human trafficking through this platform. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying in general, eventually the courts there's going to have to be like big proof. Let me see. Eric Trump posted a fat Q on the flag on OG earlier this year. Oh my goodness. What do I think about Larry Johnson? He's interesting, man. I mean, we're different people, but Larry Johnson's very into the occult stuff, I enjoy his feed. I don't always agree with him, but everybody does their own thing. I think he loves the occult stuff and he loves the symbols and the secret society stuff, and he really is into that and he follows it. So I obviously know some stuff about secret societies, but it's not like my strong forte. So, I follow him and I see what he says. Sometimes I'm like, I agree, and other times I'm like, I don't know, it's a little bit of a stretch, but we'll see. Why am I up so late? I don't know. I always stay longer than I meant to stay, but it's all good. I'm going to read this. Someone said, you want us to walk up and arrest them, or should we leave it to the authorities, or are the authorities corrupt? Well, here's what I'm trying to say. I mean, you can't really walk up to somebody and arrest them, but the point I'm getting to is, if you have theories and proof and stuff, stick to that. I'm not saying that you can walk up and arrest them. I'm just saying in general, you have to actually be right about what you're talking about. If you're right 70% of the time and 30% of the time you're wrong, and you're constantly running down wrong theories, you're not helping as much as you think you're helping. So, as far as, I don't know. I mean, for the election fraud, I think the Trump family is all you have. Like, there is no other fight. Like, it's Trump. I mean, as far as who's helping him and what authorities, you're going to have to go through them. They're fighting. As far as the human trafficking stuff, how you would bust that, if you have real concrete evidence, I think you'd have to find the right outlet. Yeah, if you bring it to authorities and they don't care and they're corrupt, then you have to bring it to the right media outlet. Whether it would be, if you had real concrete evidence, I guarantee you Project Veritas would probably drop it. I don't think they would have a problem with it. So, but the thing is, you don't really have evidence. If you did, you'd probably already have done something like that. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying, like, I don't think you have any more evidence than everyone else that has an internet connection knows, things are sketchy and you're making certain connections, but, there's got to be something more concrete, I think, to move the needle. Do I think Alex Jones is drunk on his show? I have no idea. Possibly, probably. Do I think they'll force a vaccine? It's a possibility depending where you live. Someone said there is no right media outlet. Project Veritas, there's better ones than others that will release information. But here's what I say, even for me, like, people have come to me and said, Anomaly, my friend has this, and I tell them, I'm not really a whistleblower unit. Like, you got to bring that to Project Veritas. If you have concrete proof of something, Project Veritas will drop it. But you can't have like a fair weather theory that doesn't have proof. Like, you have to have the whole kit and caboodle. Nothing's perfect, but I guarantee you could find certain people and certain outlets that are willing to drop certain stuff. You might have to go to the fringes though. A lot of mainstream news certainly doesn't want to cover this stuff. No question. Do I think our country's sustainable even with Trump? That's a good question. I think, I do think this is unsustainable. This path is unsustainable either way. That's a good question. And not in like a bad, scary way, but like in a way, I'm not glad this is happening, but something needs to change. I think the word is incrementalism. I always forget it, but it's when they just, like, even with COVID, I'll tell you two things a lot of people haven't picked up on, or at least one. In my mind, before COVID, I always said they'll never get away with lockdowns. They'll never, like, we've always known about martial law. This has been a conspiracy theory for 20 years. Everybody's seen this coming. But I said to myself, the military will never turn on us, so that's not going to work. My friend told me about martial law forever. I'm like, that's never going to work because the military won't turn on us. The police won't turn on us. They convinced the police to turn on us. How did they do it, though? Incrementalism and psychological warfare. So they convinced police that there's this virus, which I'm sure there is, but you know what I'm saying? This is why you need to do it. So they, like, if they just did it, it wouldn't work. But they somehow convinced police to enforce a psychotic law. So the police have turned against us, in a way, over COVID-19. So they're so good at that. You get what I'm saying? They're so tricky. So the point I'm getting to is, like, they have a way of, like, always nickel and diming you, but you can't figure out how to stop it because they always get under your skin and do crazy stuff. So in a way, it's not sustainable, and there needs to be some sort of blowback. So, or in general, like, movement in the other direction, but it's hard to do because you can't really point to what's going on. So in general, whether Trump wins or not, no, it's not sustainable. It really isn't. And it's funny because I saw this stuff already in 2008 and 2009, I thought I was crazy because I saw the wars. We're bombing people. And I'm like, I learned about the wars and I'm like, this is going to backfire. You can't treat people like this. Like, I know we're America, but like, you can't do this. And then I'm learning about the banking system and I'm like, this is not going to work. We're all in debt. And like, everyone thought I was crazy and everyone probably thought you guys are crazy. It's like when you know this stuff, you're like, no, this isn't going to work. And everyone's like, dude, you don't try. Like, no, this is definitely going to get to a point where like, we're all going to get like enslaved or something. Like, no, it's crazy. And like, it all happened. You know what I'm saying? Because it was always going to happen because no one did anything about it. So I think the good news is like, it's somewhat in your face now. And I don't think it's sustainable. I think there's going to have to be some sort of shift towards like a more free society or something, because Trump, win or lose, if he wins, he's got all the corporations against him and they could basically just great reset, shut off their economy without his permission. The states can do what they want. And if he loses, I mean, it's pretty clear how it could backfire. Did I vote for Ron Paul? I do not believe I was old enough to vote for Ron Paul, or maybe I was. I didn't vote, but if I would have voted, I would have voted for Ron Paul. I loved Ron Paul. I incorporated him into rap lyrics, but I was kind of a retard, so I don't think I even registered to vote. I never liked politics, but I did like Ron Paul. I could tell he was authentic. How did they censor me? I mean, they cut my reach on Facebook. They cut my video reach and my page reach on certain things. They took my ad revenue away on Facebook and my live stream monetization. That's pretty much it. But my Facebook was killer. I have like 600 million views. So that was my biggest platform that they basically cut my reach. Certain things are not cut, but certain things are. Like I used to get like 30,000. I had I was one of the biggest pages on Facebook. I'm not lying. I was top 10. I was consistently top 10. I'm posting about Epstein. I'm posting like a CBS article about Epstein, 100,000 shares, 200,000 shares. So they cut my reach, so now I can get 10,000 shares, 20,000 shares, which is still huge. But my video that I used to put, like, I put that video on Instagram. It's got almost 500,000 views right now. It has almost 40,000 shares. 40,000 people messaged it to their friends. I can see the data. On Facebook, it's got 200,000 views or something. Like, it would have had 2 million views on Facebook. They've artificially, inorganically just chopped my reach out. And it's not a theory. They told me they did it. Like, I have a message that says, like, you're fake news. We can cut your reach. I have a Parler too. I have Instagram. I'm still getting huge numbers, but they definitely did some damage. All right, I can't stay that much longer. I overstay my welcome. Ali Levine Design said, when Trump wins, let me see. When Trump wins, do you think the media will be dismantled? I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, in general, they own almost everything. This is an issue. Like, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. There's going to have to be some sort of move. Even Parler, BitChute, it's good that they made it. There's going to be some sort of standoff, but I mean, the media did so bad that they had to rig social media. Like, they're getting crushed. Tucker Carlson gets the best ratings and they hate it. Everybody's killing them on Facebook, so they had to cut people's reach. Like Twitter, Trump is crushing it, so they censor him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic. I know Newsmax seems like they're pretty good. One American News Network. I think other things will take their place. But yeah, I would love. I mean, that's the best thing that he did, was just crush the media. The media's like mind control, psychological warfare constantly, and Trump just constantly shits on them. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But they have so much power, it's insane. Like, imagine if they just like cut off everybody's Facebook, everybody's Twitter. Like, how would Instagram? It's gonna be like a back and forth. I mean, we'll see. Ferrugio said, if Trump wins, can I wear white after Labor Day again? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If Trump wins, you could wear white after Labor Day. If Biden wins, that's going to be a white supremacy violation. You're going to have to wear a Black Lives Matter suit with a little tie that has Van Jones's face on it. So, this is, for fashionistas, this election is really important. Because if Trump wins, you could wear an all-white suit. If Biden wins, you got to have a Van Jones tie.